Good evening and welcome to the Australian Institute of Sport. It's Federation Cup semi-final time. Canberra Olympic versus Belconnen United, the winners to progress to the final and play Canberra, Croatia in the showpiece. It's brought to you by our sponsors, Allstate Towing. Broken down or been in an accident, give Allstate Towing a call, your 24/7 local trusted towing company. Electro Tinj, proudly supporting the Capital Football Australia Cup qualifying rounds. Deakin Club, the family-friendly football club. Kitro Excavations for all your excavation and earth-moving needs. Rhythm Snowsports, ignite the stoke. Canberra PC Repair, IT support when you need it most. LJ Hooker, for your real estate needs, contact Lukas Cole at LJ Hooker. And Xela Constructions, commercial builders, proudly supporting grassroots football. It is football action, it is cup action, it's got to be done tonight. Like last night, we might have extra time. Like last night, we might have penalties. Unlike last night, I'm joined by Anthony Jagarinec, Canberra United head coach. Hope you got your name there right, mate, because every all season's been calling you Jagarinec because you told them to do that at the start of the year, but it is Jagarinec, correct?
Absolutely. I'd take Jagarinec or Jagarinec, not the other 400 other ones. But yeah, thanks for having me, Russ.
Thanks for coming on as well. First of all, before we get involved in this one, what a season for Canberra United. You're first as head coach as well, and you've managed to somehow pull together, in their own words, a team of misfits and what was the other thing they called themselves? Misfits and part-timers or whatever it might have been. And they've turned them into a finals football team. It was some journey.
Yeah, it was a great journey, and we can giggle about it now. But I think the work and effort that the laddies put in, pretty last minute. They bought into what we wanted to achieve this year, and were semi-successful in that as well. So it was a good season, and look to keep Canberra there or higher moving forward.
So from your point of view, and this is going to be the million-dollar question, I guess, success or failure because you didn't get any further. How did you look at it? Obviously disappointed to lose in the finals to the Mariners, and there must be a little bit inside you now watching them line up for the grand final on the weekend going, oh, that could have been us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, look, you get there, and as any coach, you play to win. So to get to the finals was fantastic, but once we were in there, 2 or 3 weeks before we got in there, we knew we're not just going to get the finals, we want to play to win. We gave it a good shot, especially the first half in the semi-final, and we copped a class goal to lose it and get knocked out. But when you're there, it's the compliment of a successful season. It definitely is there, but when you're there, you want to win.
When you convened at the start of the year over the way here, in the Silver Room, I think it was upstairs in the AIS, and you looked around the room and you saw that group of players in the room. Was the finals a realistic goal for you, honestly, or was it just going, how are we going to get this team to gel together? Because obviously it was a lot of players that played A-League before, but a lot of players that hadn't had many games at their clubs before.
Look, I think that if we're 100% honest, I had the first 2 goals on kind of my goal board was don't come last, and the second one was make finals. So I think that once we got into pre-season, I was pretty confident, and with the technical lads and ladies, we started having plays around. We got a little bit of success early on with some games we got decent points with, which meant we got buy-in. We made a choice pretty quickly after round 5 or 6 of the style of football that we're going to have to play this past season, to be successful. And once we found that rhythm and find that buy-in, from round 7 or 8, eyeing off third place was the constant talk.
How difficult was it for you as a coach at the start of the year to make the phone calls and convince people to be part of this project, not knowing where the end of this project was going to be? Because obviously when we started the competition at the start of the year, there was no end goal in sight for Canberra United other than the end of this season. No one knew where it was going to go before. You're asking people to commit to 7 or 8 months of their life to a project where you didn't know where it was going to end, and neither did they. How hard was that?
Absolutely. There was probably 2 things there to consider. I think that honesty up front was that, knowing that they didn't have a second-year contract, or we don't know what the future holds, and being upfront and honest about that. 50% of the players, or a percentage of the players, didn't mind that because they wanted 1 more year in the league, or they just instability. They didn't want to commit to something that might not be stable moving forward. So a 1-year contract really helped a lot of players. The other players came, or played at other A-League clubs and wanted another opportunity, wanted a fresh start. So, combine that with, what I wanted to try to achieve. And honestly, we never talked about wanting to win championships and, winning a treble and all these kind of things. It was honest. It was work hard, play hard, put people on the radar, which we did another 7 international call-ups. and then see what we have with finals football. And so from those kind of measures, I think that the conversations early on kind of, we achieved that. But it wasn't easy because, out of the 23 or 24 players, there was 50 or 60 phone calls.
And we'll leave it there on the Canberra United talk as well before we get into tonight's game. But finally, Anthony, we just want to say on behalf of everyone at Canberra United, everyone in the Canberra region, I think you did an amazing job this year. And we all hope you come back next year for a bit more of the same and a little bit to build on for next year for maybe some a little bit further progression.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you. That and the support of the community this year was sensational. So I think reciprocate the thanks.
Focusing on the local game now, and last night, well, West Canberra Wanderers certainly gave Canberra Croatia a scare, didn't they? 90 minutes 0-0, 120 minutes 0-0, penalty shootout, eventually going in the way of the more experienced side, 3-1 in the penalty shootout. You caught a bit of that and as well, didn't you? But first of all, Croatia got to the final, but how good were West Canberra Wanderers last night? They were compact, they were organised, they were disciplined, and they were a bit unfortunate not to go through.
Absolutely, and I think that organised and disciplined were the two things that stood out for me last night. It was on purpose, and it wasn't through CCFC's lack of trying or creating goal scoring opportunities. But Woden Western sensational last night, and got a big season ahead of them still.
How good was the goalkeeper? Ellen Brown never played. She's not a goalkeeper. She's a centre-back. She's been filling in because Gabby O'Brien got injured. Made 3 outstanding saves. I think the pick of the bunch for me, there was the one she pushed on the bar from Barach. There was one she saved from Norris. But the one she tipped round the post when Bella Barach brought it down the top of the box and bent it towards the bottom corner, I thought that's a goal all the way. That would have beaten many goalkeepers. Diving across the goal to push it wide. Incredible save. We won't talk about the penalty because it wasn't her finest moment. But what a goalkeeping performance from a player who was just thrust into the limelight. Absolutely,
and there's going to be nerves, and it's bravery, and that's I think their performance, and the rest of the girls on the park and the girls that came off the bench kind of led. Saw that kind of example and bought into that as well themselves. When the Bella Barach one where she put across the bar, as soon as Bella brought the ball down and turned, I almost turned off the TV. I said, game over. Watching Bella do that and bury hundreds of those from those areas, and when it got tipped around the bar, I went game on, and it had a feeling that it wasn't going to be Woden Western's night all night last night until the penalty shootout. Yeah, I thought the same. As soon as Barrett pulled that down and went to curl it towards the bottom corner, you're thinking, well, I mean, how many times have we seen a roll it in the corner from that kind of range? Nonchalance personified. Well, let's have a look at these two sides tonight, though. This is the second time they've met this season already. In round 1, Belconnen United gave Canberra Olympic a bit of a touch-up, 5-1. Alex Martins, Kira Bobbin, listed Campbell 2, Eilish McDonough on the score sheet. Leah Carnegie pulled one back. The big difference tonight to that game might be between the sticks, and Janet King in goal for Canberra Olympic tonight wasn't in round 1. Yelena Josipovic was between the posts. Janet King, top-class goalkeeper. You had her at Canberra United as a train-on scholarship player as well. She could make the big difference tonight. Absolutely, and she did that well that she actually upgraded herself to a full scholarship towards the end of the season. So got to work with her over a summer, and a sensational human and a great shot stopper. She came in a really good keeper, and she left sensationally. And she's incredibly fit as well, isn't she? She can run one of the quickest goalkeepers I've ever seen across the dashes. Used to be doing the 40-yarders, whatever they were. She does put a fair old effort in. And she does, and she really worked on that in the summer season in the A-League. And like I said, that she came in as a really good keeper. She bought into that kind of professional environment, and you see her tonight looking fit and looking sharp, and hopefully the lack of game time, it doesn't hurt her too much. On the other side, Belconnen United have got some high-class players themselves, and they're run particularly by the midfield quality of Isabella Highmarsh. Pulls the strings in that deep-line midfield role, can strike a ball as well. Definitely one for the future, but also one for the now. Yeah, she's a good footballer. She finds herself in good pockets, got a good passing range. She's pretty calm herself and tends to often pick the right pass as well. So I'm going to be interested in there up against a quality Olympic midfield too. Well, the Blue Devils have played in 9 of the last 10 cup finals. They've won 8 of those. And this statistic, which is quite remarkable, is they've only lost 2 cup matches in the last 12 years. That being the 2022 cup final, which they were defeated by Canberra Olympic, and the semi-final against Croatia the year before. 2 defeats in 12 years in cup football is quite remarkable. You would have been at the helm for a fair few of those cup wins as well. What is it about this football club, Belconnen United, and their affinity with this competition? I think that you know, once, you know, winning's addictive, and once you start winning, you know, you want to keep doing that. And I think that, you know, the cup football mid-season is a really good way, you know, to have that taste of winning and taste of that trophy, you know, separate to the long season, which sometimes, you know, can be a slog to get through that amount of games. So having those kind of winning mentality with winning mentality players always at the helm is really good. And I think that, you know, both clubs have lots of them tonight. So it's going to be an interesting football match, to say the least.
Yeah, you've been involved in the NPL with Belconnen United when Canberra Big first came into the competition. They were the cellar dwellers for quite a long time. In fact, Belconnen have scored 105 goals against Canberra Olympic in 31 matches, which is quite incredible. Over those 31 games, there's been 141 goals scored, an average of 4.5 per game. I'm not expecting this to end 0-0. But what I'm trying to say is that when you first came in, they were playing Canberra Olympic, Belconnen regularly putting double figures on them, giving them a touch-up. It's a different team now. Yeah,
hugely different. You see the couple of trophies over the last couple of years, and I think that, you know, the Sykes came in and, you know, changed the mindset a fair bit, and she had something to work with, which was great, and kept that momentum. And Frank's taken over the last couple of years and tried to add another level, but, you know, still got a Belconnen team that's been there and done that, and they're going to continue to do that.
6:31 for a 6:30 kickoff. No sign of Belconnen yet, which is great, isn't it? Let's have a look at the two lineups anyway then. Frank Case has gone with the following, which we believe is going to be a 4-2-3-1 formation, which will be interesting to note. Janet King in goal, as I mentioned. She's played 89 NPL games, very experienced player, come off the Canberra United ranks in the A-League. Liana Elvis at right back, Katrina Perrich at left back, Corinne Denton will partner Leah Carnegie in the centre of defence. Two in front of that, in Elise Jensen, formerly of Belconnen United, and Jane Van Dino, a combative and powerful midfield presence. Then a line of three, Madeline Whittle on the right, Tatum Marzi on the left, Tiana Miro, another Canberra United A-League player, in the 10 role, just behind Madison Keisha, who's been named as the 9 today. On the bench, Nikita Perry, Tia Burridge, Natalia Cern, Georgia Chowdhury, Ella Brown and Yelena Josipovic, the goalkeeper. It's a strong team, Anthony, and it's interesting to see Miro just behind Keisha in that front role.
Yeah, and she's got the ability to do that, and she's a technical player. She's got loads of speed in her locker as well. So, you know, she might be there to unlock the Belconnen defence tonight and possibly make those third player runs in behind as well.
We believe Belconnen are going to go 4-3-3 with a midfield triangle. We'll see how that plays out when they get out there. Matilda Laurel Ty will be between the sticks. Bronte Pike at right back, Lauren Preston at left back, Maddie Steinacker and Eilish McDonough, the centre back pairing. Isabella Highmarsh in midfield alongside Annika Corrie and Alex Martins. Up top, Kira Bobbin, Alyssa DeCampley and Alina Roberts. On the bench, Pearl Teen, Steffi Legends, Lisa Kerry, Madison Sawkins, Mara Ratalski and Claire Joseph, the goalkeeper. Again, very strong outfit and plenty of quality in there. And up top, there's some real goal-scoring talent in Roberts, Bobbin and DeCampley.
Yeah, and super fast there. And, you know, I saw a lot of highlights over the last couple of weeks when after the A-League season's finished, and the speed that Belconnen have up front. You know, he's going to look to test Olympic in the back line, but great to see Bronte Pike back in Canberra and doing what she does and having a really good start to the season.
She is incredible from fullback, isn't she? She gets up and down, and her motor's top class, and she might have a big part to play today. Hyunwoo John is the match official. Referee in the middle, Benjamin Cracknell and Lachlan Lee Chang are the assistants. These teams have met 22 times in the NPLW. Belconnen have won 16. Olympic have won 5. The other match ended in a draw. And despite their dominance of trophies in recent seasons, the team have met just twice in Federation Cup finals. Federation Cup, rather. 2018 semi-final when Belconnen won 1-0. And the 2022 final when Olympic won 2-1. All that is historical. Cup football means everything goes out of the window. But where they sit in the league at the moment, Belconnen United 15 points from 5 games. Canberra Croatia down in 5th with 9 points from 5 games. I don't know if you've seen much of it this season, but the Blue Devils in 7 matches this season have scored 45 goals, and 14 different players have found the net already.
Well,
it's quite incredible.
Yeah, that is incredible. 14 different players and those kind of goals. That's good, and you know we're hoping that it's by design from Belconnen, and they're working that and getting their reward and keeping that up because it's going to be very tough to keep that consistency through the whole year. So it's a great start to the season. That's a massive stat.
We are waiting to kick off. It's now 6:35. This is eating into my babysitting time at home, mate. I mean, this is Killing me.
I said I was only coming tonight, Russ. If it kicks off on time, 7 goals, and we're playing 90 minutes.
well, one of those 3's already out the window, so we'll see how we go with the other 2. Eventually, a little bit later than advertised, we will be getting underway. Madison Keisha over the ball for Canberra Olympic in their change strip, despite Olympic being the home team. Can't work that one out either, but anyway. Belconnen in their home kit, despite being the away team. Not that it really matters. Carnegie to sweep one forward. And Lauren Preston immediately under pressure from Tiana Miro. Great pace from Miro as well. Deceptively fast, Ant.
I don't think there's much deception about that. She's just fast. I think she comes close to Michelle Heyman in most of the sprint testing that we did at Canberra United. So her at full pace is dangerous.
Gana Alves finds Miro. Alves again, beautiful pitch tonight. You walked across it like I did. It is in immaculate condition. 0 excuses not to be able to deal with that. Good hands from Sam Farrow, CEO of Capital Football there. If you're looking for a goalkeeper.
Taking Janet's spot next year.
The great hands.
Yeah.
Bobbin Martins to send one down the back and immediately looking for De Campley. Carnegie's come across to meet her. De Campley's got there again and swung it in the area. The on-rushing run was Corrie, I believe, and here's Roberts. Wasn't far away from making a connection. Still going, Roberts. Belconnen United just know how to win cup ties.
Just the early cohesion there with that little turn by Martins there, and on 2-touch playing forward, didn't even look, knew the run from De Campley was coming. So 2-touch football, good intensity, going behind, and Carnegie did pretty well to stop. I think another touch from De Campley, and she's on goal there.
And Corrie came in, didn't she, off that coruscating pace into the air. Wasn't far away from getting it. Bobbin's throw. Into the penalty area, should be easily dealt with. Half away. Bit of a scramble will come the way of Hindmarsh. Preston. Robbed by Alves. Hindmarsh just nudges her off the ball, but Alves has won it back. A tenacious presence. Really tenacious presence. It's a good run this from Vanzino. Outside is Whittle. Another former A-League player swings it in towards Miro. Great first touch. And it just ran away from her. Otherwise, she would have been in on Laurel Ty.
We just see there a little bit of the tactical challenges that the Belconnen might have there. Maddie Whittle starting that little bit deeper role in the wide area. Just drew Preston out a little bit and, made her put her on a footrest to get the cross in. And, not a bad touch from Miro, but probably wants to do better to get the shot off as well.
The throw was looking for Marzi. It's come all the way through to Steinacker. Martin's touch is nice for Hindmarsh. And the slide rule ball for Bobbin. He's got half a yard here. Couldn't quite squeeze it through. Needed to be dealt with and was. Alves again, very strong in her defensive duties in the first moments. Here's Whittle. One for Keisha to chase. Willingly so. McDonough, the covering defender for Belconnen. A little nudge from Keisha. Wins the ball. No foul either way. Preston. Not sure Eilish McDonough knew that was coming, Ant.
Oh, I don't think it was there, but I think we're not going to call that foul, no problems. Just keep the consistency for the rest of the match, set the tone.
Whittle's ball in, looking for Marzi to try and spin away. Run by Corrie. It's come off to Campley. Whittle. One back again. Steinacker stepped in for the Blue Devils. De Campley to turn and have a run at Carnegie. Preston's made the run outside. Not many in blue shirts in the area at the moment. Preston's ball isn't going to trouble Janet King. Nice open feel to it in the early stages.
Yeah, and it's just, the tactical working each other out there, I think. Preston making those overlapping fullbacks, don't want to do that too often. Olympic don't want to let them do that too often, but equally when she goes forward, interesting how Olympic's going to utilise the space on the back end that she left behind.
Denton finds Marzi. Cross goes Bronte Pike with the challenge. Quite a few turned out on this near side. Bring your own chair to the AIS.
Yeah, why not? It's ironic at the AIS at the moment that we're only allowed to play on field 1 and train on field 2.
Yeah, which is the field over behind us.
Traditionally opposite,
in front of us,
right?
Rather. Yeah, absolutely. Which is generally the better of the two fields.
There's a bit of a viewing platform up there too for the spectators.
That's for us, mate.
I meant the hill.
Oh, the hill here. Denton back. They've all come to this near side, the spectators, not allowed on the far side, of course. Lauren Preston wearing the skipper's armbands. Benches will play a big part tonight, no doubt about it. Reminder, you can have 6 subs at this stage of the competition, 5 outfield plus a goalkeeper. Same rules apply as the league's campaign, though. 5 subs in 3 windows. You get an extra one in extra time if you haven't used all your outfield players or you choose to substitute your goalkeeper.
Yeah, and that's a challenge in cup football too. You know, the longer the game goes, the longer there's no goals. You know, for coaches to start using the subs.
Roberts sends it across. Deflection that favours Denton. Gets a bit lucky. Came off of Corey. Steineker's won it.
Yeah, then did you use the subs? Do you not use them? Do you wait till extra time? You know, do you try to win the match in 90 minutes? All these kind of things come as from coaches, especially when there needs to be a winner on the day.
It's a juggling act, isn't it? Whoever gets it right will likely come out on top. Belconnen won the Charity Shield between these two, and by 3-0 as well, and they ran the round 1 game 5-1. Does it have any effect on this match, those 2 games, or is it just a question of, well, that was then and this is now?
I think that's then and this is now. It's, you know, midweek football, it's cup football like we keep talking about. I think that, you know, Olympic are 5 or 6 games into there as well, and, you know, get to watch a lot more football of Belconnen too. So I think pretty consistent what Belconnen have been doing from the limited games that I've watched. You know, it's pretty structured shape, and one big thing that I've noticed from Olympic early on is the protection of the back line. That maybe hasn't been there in the last couple of weeks as well. So just turning that protection in the back line to make sure they're still able to go forward, to make sure the ball's not in Belconnen's front half for too long.
Well, they lost the first 2 of the season Olympic, but they have won the last 4. Haven't exactly been blowing sides away. They did get 7 against Tuggeranong United, but it was 1-0 against Gungahlin in the Cup quarter-final, 2-1 against Majura with a couple of goals in the last 18 minutes, and 2-1 against West Canberra. You don't have to be blowing sides away at this stage of the season, do you? Just got to be winning football matches, I guess, and especially in cup football.
Absolutely, mate.
Martins, here's a chance for Bobbin to put it into the middle. Roberts got there. No pace on it. Just saying it's about winning, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's not even about winning pretty. You know, you just got to win, get those goals, and shut up shop or whatever it might be. You look at all the you know, our match against Central Coast Mariners, you know, 2-1 down. We went down and, you know, lost it off a bomb, but there's 1 goal in that. Central Coast went and played against Melbourne City. There was 1 goal in that over 2 matches as well. So you just got to win it.
Roberts turns the marker again. Looks to send it into the middle towards DeCampley. Nice first touch. Might come for Bobbin. Kings out early. And not to harp on that and bring back any bad memories, but at 1-0, there were chances to go 2 up. And you have to take your chances, don't you?
At all levels, you've got to take your chances. But at that level, absolutely, in a semi-final, we had a bit of momentum. The game plan was perfect for, you know, even we copped 27 seconds into the second half. But, you know, for 45 to 50, 55 minutes, the game plan was perfect. And then a little bit of maturity from Central Coast just started chipping away, and you know, they got on top at the end. But at 1-0, even at 0-0, we had 2 great chances. At 1-0 up, another clean chance we probably need to score. 2-0 at half-time is probably game over.
How frustrating was that to concede so early in the second half after you've just sat down for 15 minutes, passed on the message? I believe they call them coach killers for a reason.
I think the last words that I said before we went out was, put your seatbelts on and hang on. But we didn't do that. It was 4 or 5 opportunities to clear the ball, and we didn't. And that's football, and credit to Central Coast, and good luck to them on the weekend.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Against Melbourne Victory, you always seem to find a way in finals football. Quintessential finals football team under Jeff Hopkins. They're a prime example. They start the season slowly, make finals, and then they're there again.
Plenty of experience in his team and in himself to get there. So congrats to him, and equally good luck to them.
Yeah, looking forward to that one on the weekends.
been 2 or 3 times now, Russ, in the last couple of minutes where Belconnen's found themselves in the front line in a 1v1 or a 3v3. And Olympic better just be aware of that. It can be their undoing.
Steinacker picks off the attempted through ball from Alves and finds Corrie. They're going to slide it wide. Roberts was the target. Might be a second bite of the cherry at Corrie. Does find Roberts. I'm going to have a go at Peric and use her pace to get past her and pull it back. Carnegie away. Nicely done. Vanzino looking for Marzi with a longer ball. Belconnen just enjoying a spell here. Oh, Marsh. Off for Preston. Bobbing down the flank. Up against Alves. This will be a good battle to watch all night. There'll be plenty of them around the field, though. Bobbing looking to twist and turn. Great challenge, though, from Liana Alves. Bobbin came back for more, but that's great defending. Great
defending, and you can't let this Belconnen front line with their pace get in front of you. And I think that Peric on the right a second ago and Alves just there on the left did really well to not get momentum, and then you're having the second bite at the cherry was good.
Ball comes out here for DeCampley for the snapshot, the deflection. Well, it took all the power off it. For a moment, I thought it was going to wrong foot King.
Had that look about it. Good effort.
We're going to get everyone excited at home here, Ant, because you've got some amazing transfer news, haven't you? Coming out of Jagerinit's pocket. But unfortunately, it's nothing to do with Canberra United, is it? What are you up to, mate?
Mate, trying to register on my football club to have a kick in. I think it's State League 9 this year. The lads are playing.
Back for Burns FC.
Back for Burns FC.
There'd have been people at home going, "Oh, who is he signing?" We've got you all excited.
We're in the cup run still, Russ? Not sure.
No, lost out. Lost out in the early rounds, unfortunately. That's a good segue to next week, Tuesday night, Queanbeyan City versus Tigers from South Jerrabomberra Regional Sporting Complex. Tune in for that one. Should be a cracker. And then on Wednesday, Tuggeranong versus Canberra, Croatia from Canberra 2 in the men's semi-finals of the Han Australia Cup qualifying. We're looking forward to those 2 semi-finals off the back of the 2 women's this week. Love the way we've spaced them out this year so that we can bring you all this action thanks to our sponsors live on the Capital Football YouTube channel.
It's great. At home on the couch or live, it's beautiful.
It's even better here in person, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Steinacker intercepts not for the first time. Alex Martins plays it forward. Plenty of time for DeCampley. Martins again. Bobbin stringing together the ball nicely here, the Blue Devils. Roberts looking to find a way through. And it's great touch here and an opportunity. What a save from King. Super stop. It was a really good opportunity for Alex Martins, who'd come forward. The touch was magnificent. And we're talking about the quality of the goalkeeper. And there's an example.
Absolutely. Great touch by Martins, and the form that she's in this season, you're waiting for the back of the net to ripple, but up steps Janet King. You know, Tim Davis would be very proud there, waited till the very last second, kept her time, kept the patience, made herself big and come up trumps on that effort. So super save and you know, huge lift for Olympic in the early stages.
Well, once Martins had brought that down and got behind, you expected the net to bulge. Alex Martins, who this season has scored 3 goals in 4 league games and 4 in the cup tie last time out when they beat Majura. Well, I thought she was on for another.
With the technique that she's got in her toolbox, I thought the same. But it's not a bad shot. It's not a bad shot.
Did everything right.
Yeah, sensational save there.
We wondered how much difference Janet King might make. Well, there's a prime example. Would it be a bit worrying for Frank Keisha early on, Ant, that they managed to string together those opportunities and created it with that ball into the area? And again, a late runner from midfield. Yeah,
and I was just thinking that in the mid-third, there's a clear rotation from Olympic, and you know, there's clear pointing from Maddie Whittle down on the near side in front of us. You know, she's not leaving her player until the midfielder gets picked up. But as they transfer into the front third from Belconnen, it gets a little bit unstuck, and there's the 3v3s, the 4v3s there, and the third player run by Martins there got them unstuck. So probably something to think about and consider for the 2 holding midfields there for Olympic.
Keisha. Pike steps in. Done a lot of that, the Belconnen defence at the moment. Olympic haven't been able to string together a couple of passes to get their forwards in. Alves at full stretch. Preston off of Keisha for a Belconnen ball.
I think they're just the 2 wide midfielders in Whittle and Martins there are doing a good job to stop the fullbacks going across, but then it's equally hurting them going forward just to kind of have an outlet pass as well. So defensively really good by them too, but like maybe coming to the ball, getting a little bit of width, might help Olympic 2-3 passes, and then 4 or 5 will come after that.
I don't know if this is a worry, but in 7 games this season, only once have Canberra Olympic scored more than twice in a game. I don't know whether that will be something that Frank Keisha will be looking at a little bit further down the track. Or you might argue that 2 goals should be enough to win you a football match.
Yeah, probably. It should be, definitely. I think besides Miro's, kind of half touch into the box, has there been another 18-yard box entry? Not sure, so...
Yeah, they don't look like the kind of team that's going to blow sides away, but they've gritted out a few results this season. And they have got individual quality to hurt you. Steinacker away. Marzi steps in. Scored herself a header on the weekend, say to Marzi.
Header?
Yeah, not often she gets those.
Yeah.
Denton switches play with a cross-field ball. Lovely little turn from Jensen. And again, they're strong from Bobbin. And using her pace to try and get away here. And Miro's tracking back diligently. It's good defensive work from Tiana Miro.
I think that probably Miro's got Bobbin's pace out there. Probably not many people do, but good defensive tracking. But it's the intent for Miro to want to do that. It's helped their team out massively. And not only that, composed and finds a keeper and back the other way.
Roberts lifts one forward. Corrie was the target. King was there first. And most of the attacking threat has come from the light blue shirts at the moment. They've created the best chance of the match. Janet King denied Alex Martins. Bobbin won back by Whittle. Talk about match winners. She's definitely won Madeline Whittle. Plays it the wrong side of Marzi, though, and that's simple for Pike.
Upset at herself there, and she knows she's better than that.
Nice touch from Roberts to find Highmarsh. Bobbin needs to stretch to get there. The pass just lacked the fizz required. Vanzino finds Miro. And here's Marzi. Again, Pike with the foot in. Vanzino.
Good ball. Why not?
Marzi stopped the run. See what you're thinking. Marzi might have gone down that channel.
Down that channel. I think Vanzino thought the same.
I think she let her know it as well. Slightly more forthright terms than we did.
It's, yeah. Same message, different language.
I think something like that. Family show at our end, though, isn't it?
Definitely.
Miro wins it. Perrich stabs it forward. Keisha's brought it down. Marzi's taken over. Taken off her toe by Steinacker. Won back by Alves. Stepped in a lot at the moment, Liana Alves. 18 minutes in.
And she has to, because I think that it's pretty by design there, because, probably on a foot race that Kira's just got her. So Olympic doing really well to make sure to take away the front 3 pace of Belconnen at the moment. Equally, the back 4 from Belconnen so deep. So those long balls over the top.
Marzi has a dip. When it's spilled by Laurel Tyne, it's loose, and Whittle will turn it home. Smash and grab from Canberra Olympic. Their first real effort on target. The keeper spills it, and there's Maddie Whittle, as she often is, in the right place at the right time. And it's Olympic who hit the front.
Proper goal poacher there in Maddie Whittle. I was just about to say maybe those long balls need to be a little bit shorter to keep the Belconnen backline out of it. Little touch outside, a good shot, and, on this perfect pitch, it does get quite dewy in Canberra, and slipped out of the keeper's hands, and who else but Maddie Whittle for a little round the keeper tap home. Class, like I probably scored most of her goals with them.
Well, she does have 111 NPL goals in 139 appearances. That's her first goal of the season in all competitions, and you can see why she's got that record. Just followed up, as any good striker should do. You'd know, and 99 times out of 100, the keeper keeps that and doesn't spill it. The one time she does, there is the play, and that's why you make those runs.
And that's why, she's stood out in this league, and why she's had some A-League games under her belt as well. That's that next level, those 1%ers there. So she anticipated it, and, like you said, 99 times she has to make that run just in case. And this one she got rewarded for it. I just hope for her it's not another 99 times before it comes off again.
What's Belconnen's response? Highmarsh will take the corner kick. Swing it into the danger area. McDonald's a target. Pike leapt as well, and the break might be on at the other end. Vanzino. Olympic won a free kick, and they're going to get one. Alina Roberts, I think that is, just getting a yellow card.
He's arguing a little bit there that there was protection behind, so it shouldn't be a card, but professional foul's a professional foul, stopping a counter-attack. It's a good transition there by Olympic, and you know, Bronte Pike leapt really high for those corners, and Olympic be aware of that. She knows where the back of the net is with her head.
The only problem with this ground, Ant, is that anything that happens in that far side, it's quite gloomy, isn't it? It's not quite as bright for us to see as it is if it comes on this near side.
I think Kelly said something about your old age last night.
Oh, look, I'm definitely older.
I wasn't going to go there. I'm not that rude, but
yeah. Eyesight is fading somewhat.
But it's definitely darker on this pitch than the other one, that's for sure.
Yeah, because the floodlights are so far away, isn't it? It's not because they're not on your traditional football pitch right next to the field as they would normally be. You can see the shadows fairly lengthening. Roberts. I'll have to retire one day, Ant. You can take over. Once you finish your coaching career, taking the Matildas to World Cup glory.
And then State League 7.
Oh, well, what would be more important?
Well, look, if I'm lucky enough to have the choice, I'll make it then, right?
I was just doing a program piece for the Kanga Cup this week about the AFC Asian Cup coming here in 2026. Sydney, Perth and Queensland lucky enough to get some games.
Unreal, isn't that great after the World Cup?
Yeah,
Last year, what are we? 2 years
23,
ago?
yeah. 12 teams will be here, the best in Asia, the 11 qualifiers in Australia. I think it's 1 to 21 March 2026. Don't miss that. If you can get some tickets, feel free to do so. It would be great. Tournament. Steinacker. Popped off by De Campley. Hindmarsh. Olympic lead by 1-0. McDonough forward. Touch from De Campley. Here's Preston. Back for Bobbin. Miro steps in. I've got a question for you, Ant. You might not be able to answer it, but see if you can. If you're Canberra, Croatia right now, which one of these two teams would you fancy playing in the final? I mean, is it lesser of two evils? I mean, is it just like, well, it doesn't really matter? They're both equally as good as each other. Is there one they might fancy more, that might suit their style a bit more? Obviously subjective to you.
Absolutely, and I think that... Look, you put me on the spot here, but I'm going to go back to cup football. I think it's more important that you look at your own team and what your strengths are, as opposed to who you're playing. You know, it's a must-win matches. You know, you don't get to play 2 or 3 times over the season, or two-way semi-finals and stuff like that. So I think Canberra Croatia are going to be looking at themselves and what they can do, their strengths. Olympic and Belconnen are different styles of play, so you're probably going to have a little bit more possession against Olympic, and I'm not sure Canberra Croatia if that's what they want or don't want. Or against Belconnen, you sit back and you wait and you get rewards like Olympic have tonight. So 2 different styles.
Yeah, difficult to say, isn't it? I think at the end of the day, you're probably right. It's just like, well, we'll concentrate on ourselves and play whoever we get to play. Roberts again needs to be a bit careful. Bit of frustration there as well. Grim Denton down, I think it is, amongst the gloom. Call on for the trainer, which gives us a chance to tell you that you're watching live Federation Cup semi-final football, brought to you by our sponsors, Allstate Towing, Electro Tinj, Deakin Club, Kitro Excavations, Rhythm Snowsports, Canberra PC Repair, LJ Hooker and Xela Constructions. Big weekends of football, of course, coming up, as it always is, on Capital Football's YouTube channel. All starts on Saturday afternoon. Men's Premier League, Tigers versus Ugadi from this venue. Queanbeyan City versus Tuggeranong United on Sunday. I'll be here, actually, for the Tigers game. On Sunday, I'll be at Deakin Stadium for Canberra Croatia versus Monero Panthers in the Men's Premier League. Gungahlin United play O'Connor Knights, O'Connor enclosed. 4 women's games on Sunday. Olympic play ANU, Tuggeranong play Canberra Croatia, Majura play Belconnen United, and West Canberra Wanderers play Gungahlin. All of those games live for you on the Capital Football YouTube channel. There's never too much football, and you can watch them all.
In the men's there, that Tigers massive 3 points against Canberra Croatia on Sunday, was it, to keep the pack
really
nice and
close.
close?
Really closed it up. I mean, Croatia play Monera this weekend as well, so there's a potential if Tigers win here on Saturday against Ugali, they'll go top of the pile for at least 24 hours.
And then a draw will keep him there, I suppose.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we could have a big weekend. Tuggeranong United might close the gap as well. They play Queanbeyan City. Both those sides will fancy the points there and to be able to push up on the top three. Gagarin United, well, they're desperate for some points. They were beaten 5-1 at Ugali last week. The league champions, season falling off a cliff in the early stages. A lot of work to do there for Javier Roca and his team.
Tigers beating Deakin, probably Nathan Medrick. Was that all him? He'd probably tell you it was.
He was suspended.
Did it single-handedly? Oh, was he?
He was sent off the previous week against Tuggeranong United.
So it wasn't
for making the acquaintance of Sam Walker at one stage.
Oh, I did see that.
Trying out for the Greco-Roman wrestling, I think it was, at the Commonwealth Games.
That's the other side of the AIS.
Definitely rooms for that here, isn't there? Bit of everything over there in the AIS block, where Olympic champions are made.
Is that 2v2 up top for Olympic? For Belconnen, sorry, and got to be aware of that on those transition moments. We know how potent Belconnen are and can do that. And the longer it goes on, the more risk Belconnen are going to have to take. So discipline from Olympic to not let that happen too often.
Carnegie asking Casey to get after it. McDonough's gone across. Calmness personified. Preston bobbing back for McDonough again. Ball forward. DeCampi couldn't keep it in.
Good collective press there from Olympic. Hunted in packs, got the reward.
Carnegie. Denton. They were on the back foot before the goal, I think it's fair to say, Ant, but since they've scored, it's funny what a goal can do. Momentum shifts and all that.
So a little bit of confidence from Olympic. I think, Belconnen's taken their foot off a little bit as well since the goal, so big momentum shift both ways.
Martins, Corrie, blocked by Carnegie. Here's Bobbin. Back for Corrie. Hi, Marsh. Well, if there's one thing Belconnen always do, it's score. You'd have to think the Olympic might need another one. They'll do well to keep a clean sheet against this side. Bronte Pike to lift it into the penalty area. Martins had a stab at it. Might break for Miro. Steinacker. Hi, Marsh. Good defensive work by Canberra Olympic. Disciplined defensive work. We talked about the Wanderers' discipline last night. Olympic having to be exactly the same here. Chance for Martins to have a spin. Used her quick feet. Tried to get the shot away. I think the presence of Whittle did just enough. Half-hearted shouts for a foul, I think, from Alex Martins. Never going to get that, I don't believe. Well, they won't go away from their principles, will they, Scott Conlon's side? They will continue to play their football. Really good defensive work by Steinacker. 8 up the ground to nick it off Keisha's feet. McDonough. Looking for the run behind of Bobbin. It will skip away off the surface for King, but that might be an inroad.
Just like there, Preston wasn't really overlapping, and it was clear that Bobbin wanted the ball inside. Potentially a little bit of width and holding a run out wide to maybe let her take a first touch forward. The ball does come off. It's going to invite Janet King either way. So maybe a little bit more width when the fullbacks aren't overlapping.
Preston away. Challenge was from Jensen on Martins. Free kick is given after a fashion by Hyunwoo John. Just looking for an advantage, none forthcoming. I don't think Frank Asian will mind that, though. Just a little niggly fouls in there to allow everyone to reset. Pep Guardiola's Manchester City made an absolute art of that, didn't they? A lot of teams do it now. What a ball that is from Hindmarsh. Brought down by DeCampley. Teed up for Martins, and it's not far away. Well, it might have been route one, but it was route one with a purpose, and it almost came off.
Oh, that's pinpoint accurate. On a dime there, the DeCampley's first touch was sensational. It was unselfishly laid it off, and bit wide off the target there, but it's good Route 1 football there, and you know, a little bit maybe too easy for Olympic, but the ball in from Hindmarsh, sensational.
Set-piece expert, Isabella Hindmarsh. Somewhat surprised that De Campley didn't pull the trigger, but saw Martin in what she perceived to be a better position. Pike. Bobbin. Went between both De Campley and Roberts. Kat Peric has time to clear. Were you surprised De Campley didn't have a go?
I was just thinking there, maybe it comes back to the goal that was conceded too. You know, it is a slippery pitch, and what you can't see when the dew starts coming in, so it ends up being a little bit slippery. So just maybe her first touch just got away from her a little bit, and then readjusted. Body shape wasn't great, so made the decision to pass, but a little bit tighter pass. She probably puts that on target.
A loose ball picked up by Maddie Whittle. Madison Keisha's touch was a bit long, and then Whittle's had a go. And again, it's dipped on Laurel Ty at a horrible time. Did well to hold on to it that time.
Yeah, it did well, absolutely. And it's just every time Olympic go forward and they have that person in that half pocket off the back line, really trouble Belconnen there, yeah.
Lovely ball from Hindmarsh again. Bobbin's got pace, but so's Alves. Bobbin's got there first. Can't get past Carnegie, former Belconnen United player.
Someone said she scored from halfway on the weekend.
Did scored an absolute bomb. Often does that, Leah Carnegie. Her goals tend to be strikes from a long, long way out.
Got in the locker. Set piece or live?
I think it was live.
Yeah, right.
Just hit it. But when you've got that in your locker, why not have a go?
Absolutely.
I couldn't kick it that far. How are you going? From halfway.
I'm looking at the goal from halfway. My hammies are hurting.
To be honest, I saw you score a goal here in a Han Australia Cup match on the other field, just over there, and you barely made the celebration to the corner flag. It was a 10-metre run, wasn't it?
The best celebration you've seen, Russ.
It was up there. Did you get 2 that night? Was it 3?
Pretty sure it was 3.
Was it 3?
Who's
there
counting,
was a penalty. Right? There was a penalty there as well, wasn't there? That's right.
Too, yeah.
Yeah. You obviously were.
If I was counting, I would have counted the own goal too.
Well, you did get one at the other end, that's true. Claimed yourself 4 then.
Yeah.
Keisha, Stanica rather, on the turn. One back by Van Zeno.
Van Zeno pretty good stepping in, really stopping the midfield transition there from Belconnen, but just needs an outlet pass, gets a head up, has to slow down, and just gives Belconnen the time to get a little toe in there and stop the momentum.
Game we were talking about was Burns Majura in the cup, wasn't it? 4-4 draw.
And then to pens, yeah.
Did you score your pen in the shootout as well? I think you did,
I did, yeah.
Yeah, had a good night, mate. You lost, though, didn't you? 5-4?
Didn't walk for 7 weeks after that, yeah.
Keisha chasing. Majura got the dubious pleasure of playing Gungahlin United in the following round.
Double digits from...
I think it was 8-0 in the end. So, yeah, it blew out towards the end. It wasn't as bad as they thought it was going to be. Against a Gungahlin side that did go on and win the league that year. Denton.
Ooh, offside.
Ball over the top looking for Marzi. Flag stayed down. I wondered if it had gone up. Had it reached Marzi. We'll play on nonetheless. Now a chance for Corrie. Sorry, Roberts, rather. Having a run. Challenge from Peric. Experience of Kat Peric at fullback. And sends it forward. Manzino comes in to win. 11 minutes to go till half, and she slid it through, and Keisha might be in here. It's Maddie Keisha. It's a really good save from Laurel Ty. Fantastic stop. Maddie Keisha might have thought she was making it too, and that might prove to be a vital save in the shake-up at the end of this one.
Huge, huge save there. I think the ball from Van Zeno, sensational, well weighted, and I think just Keisha just pulled out a little bit. I think she needs to be a little bit braver. Young player, you know, goalkeeper running at you, it can be a little bit scary, but needs to be braver, get to the ball nice and quick, elevate the pass, maybe go around, but just hesitated a touch and just brought the goalkeeper, Belconnen goalkeeper, just into it a bit. Enough, I suppose.
Warning, though, for the Blue Devils. Another one if they needed one. Bobbin. After Burners on, Kira Bobbin sprinting away. We'll have a look up. Only De Campley in the middle, though. They need to get a bit more support up for Kira bobbing in those situations.
Yeah, the problem is if Kira's making the runs out of the back line, there's one less player up top, so a bit of replacement, rotation.
Martins does well. And then coming together with Alves at the expense of a corner kick.
Good shout for a free kick there.
Wasn't much ball, was there?
No.
Awful lot of player.
Ref took the easy option for a corner.
I think there might have been one or two complaints had he given a goal kick. They have got a set piece out of it, nonetheless, the Blue Devils, and Highmarsh will take again. Swings it to that near post, and it's a good one right across the 6-yard box. And no one in a blue shirt got a touch, otherwise would have been all square. Well, someone got a touch.
Yeah, Leah Carnegie from up here definitely looked like she got a touch. The linesman called it pretty early, and I thought she did get a touch too, so maybe a bit of gamesmanship from Olympic there, pretending they didn't touch it.
Well, you'd take it if you could, but what a corner that was.
Absolutely. Different to the first one. Driven a little bit more, a little bit narrower, a little bit shorter, sorry.
This is McDonough, I think, who's gone over on the other side.
In swinger.
That it is, and a good one too into the middle. Pike met it and couldn't keep it down. Good chance.
Yeah, great ball on the left foot in swinger, and well timed there, the header, good connection, just top of the head.
37 minutes gone. Still 1-0. Maddie Whittle's goal the difference. Might be one of those cup nights, we will see. Carnegie's clearance squeezes away past Roberts, who swapped wings at the moment. Free kick goes away of Belconnen, just beginning to assert themselves a bit more. And Izzy Highmarsh will be tasked with this opportunity. Can she find the right delivery? Highmarsh swings it towards the far post. Pike was leaning away from it. Difficult to get the power on that, but nobody in a blue shirt in the penalty area to get on the end of that head knockdown.
It's another tasty delivery behind Marsh off the set piece, and once again well connected by Bronte. Probably a third player run there. You're right, Russ. It's hard to get that angle and accuracy across a quality goalkeeper, but back across the goal for a tap in. Potentials.
Yeah, I used to love those myself. Little knockdowns in the box, someone getting on the end of it, isn't it?
You were backstick tap in.
Love a backstick tap in. You make that run, it's very hard to cover it as a defender. McDonough's touch was heavy. Whittle finds Marzi and tried to get it back. Pass wasn't quite as accurate as it needed to be from Tate and Marzi, otherwise they might have been in there. And here's a chance for Bobbin on the other flank. Denton does enough.
I think that's what we're going to see for most of the rest of the matches. It stays at 1-0 and Belconnen build, and then Olympic on the transition and starts over again. Just the rotation from midfield slowed down for Belconnen a little bit. It's made Olympic's life a little bit easier and stopped them playing those turning and facing, playing those forward balls too. So maybe a halftime talk, recalibrate there, get a bit more movement, a bit more rotation there again.
Defended well though in the main Olympic. They have the advantage that they wanted at this stage. Janet King's brilliant save kept them at 0-0, and fair to say Laurel Tighe's magnificent stop at the other end has kept Canberra Olympic from being 2-0 up in this one. There's been chances for both teams outside of the goal.
Absolutely.
Vanzino and Corrie. Good battle and well won by Corrie. Highmarsh. Miro. Highmarsh for Pike. Very picturesque ground, this one, isn't it? not a breath of wind tonight.
Very historic too.
Been some famous names come through here.
Lots.
Did a bit of training Canberra United here as well, didn't they, during the season? Fair amount of it.
Yeah, we started the season here, and the front end of the week was AIS, and back end was at McKellar, which was sensational.
Carnegie with a free kick. Olympic have committed 5 into the penalty area. 1 outside the box as well. Swung in towards Whittle, who got the glance on it. And Laura Tides kept it in play. It's swung back in by Marzi. Might come for Keisha. Half scrambled it clear, and now they can break with Kira Bobbin. And Roberts has made a brilliant run to this near side. Couldn't quite get it under her feet to send her away. McDonough. Nice touch from Martins. De Campley goes down. Free kick is awarded. Bit of a scramble inside the Belconnen box there. Laurel Ty kept it in and almost created an opportunity.
Yeah, she must have thought it might have been just sneaking inside the post and better be safe than sorry. And then I think just as the second ball came in, it was a delightful ball in that second post. A little bit of a dink, and that Jew just got to who it landed. I think it was Masters that landed to. Couldn't get control, opted for a pass. And
Donor launches a deep one. And Bronte Pike was a stud away from turning that past King, who looked far more calm than any of her teammates and coaching staff.
She definitely looked a lot calmer than her players on top of the 18-yard box watching the action go by. So that's second or third warning shot from Bronte Pike, and Olympic probably need to deal with that. Direct responsibility or 2 players even.
Does have a pretty good strike rate, Bronte Pike. 22 goals in 86 games in the league. It's not bad for an attacking fullback.
Absolutely. I think in the 29 season she got 11 of them herself in the league. So it's a good return for a fullback.
Yeah, she had that one year, didn't she, which you just everything she touched turned to goals.
It was great, yeah. When she's on your team, it's great.
Yeah. They couldn't stop her for some reason. It was just rampaging run after rampaging run, and it often ended with either a goal or an assist. Half decent Belconnen side that was, wasn't it?
It wasn't too bad, yeah.
Perich has switched wings as well here, which is interesting. We often see wingers swap wings. We don't often see fullbacks go and follow them.
Yeah, Alba's just... Bobbin swapped a little bit before, and I wonder if just Alba's speed's a little bit quicker than Perich. The evergreen, but...
Marzi, ricochets might come for Miro. I think it's exactly what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've gone, well, Alina Roberts, Kat Perich fancies that she can stick with her, and Alves extra pace to stay with Bobbin. Obviously something that Frank Keisha's looked at during the week.
Yeah, and it's good to see that this Olympics, or both sides, but definitely the Olympic side I've noticed tonight, it is very on purpose, what they're doing.
It's changed a lot, hasn't it, and over the years? It used to be you just turned up and played, whoever was there. Now there's an awful lot of analysis, isn't there, during the week? Looking at the opposition. You might look at 1 or 2 players and learn about their strengths and weaknesses and what they can do.
Yeah, and it's important where football needs to go if we want to progress. You know, having the ability to have matches streamed helps the quality a lot.
Can't hide anymore. Everyone knows if you're not running. Perich wins their header. Roberts skips away from Perich, finds De Campley. Carnegie was happy to let De Campley go and get that on her own. Martins. Again, finding Roberts. Back for Martins once more. That delivery's not too bad either, but again, a bit too close to Janet King. Bobbin fancied it. We're into the final minutes of the first half of this Cup semi-final. Canberra Crenshaw awaits the victors. At the moment, it's Canberra Olympic, who will be progressing, but there is a big 45 minutes to come. Still a few minutes left in this half as well.
2 big halftime talks coming from Conlon and Keisha.
Carnegie to send it forward. They'd love a second right now, wouldn't they? McDonough with Marzi. Might be in trouble here. Eilish McDonough recovers beautifully. Good defending in the end. Got herself into trouble, got herself out of it.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely put herself in there. And sensation not to give away a penalty too. against a player that knows how to win one.
Yeah, Marty was half asking.
Yeah.
More in hope than expectation, though, I believe. Steinacker's had a good 45 again. And invites Pike down that flank. Bobbin, Alves, the omnipresent shadow. Bobbin has it, though. And Pike can deliver it into the middle. King, once again, calm. That's what you want from your goalkeeper. Not sure what we've got added on. Can't be too much. Don't remember too many stoppages. There was a quick one in the first half. A bit in the first half of the first half, I should say. Whittle, the goal scorer. Steinecker half clears it. And the free kick goes against Matty Whittle. Maybe one last chance for Belconnen in this first half as we approach stoppage time. Carnegie met it. Marzi brought it down. Jensen. That'll be the final touch of the first half. Kat Perich wanted to have a go from a distance. Antti Jagger, it's good first half. Both sides pretty even. That one chance, Laura Ty couldn't hold the shot, and there was Madeline Whittle to turn it home. That's the difference so far, but in the main, it's close.
Yeah, and that was definitely the difference on the scoreboard, but it was a big momentum shift just after that goal as well. And I think it was a much more even match after the goal, and Belconnen started very heavy and very on fire, and Olympia just worked their way into the match and probably just deserved on gameplay the 1-0 lead.
Well, it's something they will take into the change room. Big halftime tea talks coming their way. Both goalkeepers have made good stops in the first half. Janet King from Alex Martins, Matilda Laurel Tai from Madison Keisha. But it's the goal from Maddie Whittle after 90 minutes that's the difference. Matilda Laurel Tai pushing away an effort. And there was Madeline Whittle to skip round her and score. And at halftime in the Federation Cup final, it's Canberra Olympic with 1 foot in the final. It's Canberra Olympic 1, Belconnen United 0.
on camera, but...
Welcome back to the AIS. We're at half-time in the Women's Federation Cup semi-final 2. Canberra Olympic lead Belconnen United by 1-0. Madeline Whittle's goal after 19 minutes as they seek a place in the final against Canberra, Croatia. Your Federation Cup action brought to you by our sponsors, Allstate Towing. Broken down or been in an accident? Give Allstate Towing a call, your 24/7 local trusted towing company. Electro Tinj, proudly supporting the Federation Cup qualifying rounds. Deakin Club, the family-friendly football club. Kitro Excavations for all your excavation and earth-moving needs. Rhythm Snowsports, ignite the stoke. Canberra PC Repair, IT support when you need it most. LJ Hooker, for your real estate needs, contact Lukas Cole at LJ Hooker. And Xela Constructions, commercial builders, proudly supporting grassroots football. My name's Russ Gibbs. Anthony Yagalinitz, the head coach of Canberra United, is with me up here. Half-time, Ant. We've been discussing all things football, mentioning the A-League semi-finals in the women's and VAR and all sorts of other things. There were some interesting calls on the weekend, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a slightly offside call in the Melbourne City game versus Central Coast Mariners, but Mariners got away with one, and good full match, 121st minute winner. Great finish from Isabel Gomez, and playing against Melbourne Victory in the final this weekend against their own homegrown talent, Nikki Flannery.
How good she's been this year, Isabel Gomez. Quality football, isn't she? Just really come on leaps and bounds over the last couple of years. Absolutely.
We had a chat to her, I think, a couple of years ago now, and 50-50, and she ended up at Central Coast, and, you know, she's just grown since then. And under Emma Husband, so she's done really well and reaping the rewards after a small injury scare. Start of the year, I think it was. Matilda's call up again into the squad.
Well, the teams are out there, ready for the second half. Let's have a look at these benches, because they might prove important. Pearlteen, Steffi Legends, Lisa Carey, Madison Sawkins, Maya Ratalski for Belconnen United. The outfield players for Canberra Olympic, Nikita Perry, Tia Burridge, Natalia Cern, Georgia Chowdhury and Ella Brown. Lots of talent on the benches. I'm wondering when both coaches will have a look at that, and if they have at half-time. I'll be surprised if they have at half-time. Looking around, I can't see any changes at the moment.
Lots of versatility there on those benches as well.
So what do Belconnen United need to do to get back into this? And don't say score a goal, which is what they do need to do, but how are they going to go about doing that?
Well, look, I think that much of the same. I think the overlapping fullbacks, they had lots of success. I think the shape of Olympic opens them up to overlap those fullbacks without exposing too much. So keep doing that. I'd really like the wingers for Belconnen just to stay a little bit wider in those transition moments, just to have the whole more of the field to run in. You know, as soon as they go narrow, they close up a fair bit and introduce the centre backs from Olympic a little bit more. So a little bit more width from Belconnen, but there's not much in it. It's on a knife's edge at the moment.
Oft-worn football phrase. The next goal, utterly critical, you feel. The second Canberra Olympic goal would make it an uphill battle for Belconnen United. A Blue Devils goal might well switch the whole momentum of the cup tie in their favour. It is that perilous and that balanced on a knife edge at the moment, isn't it, that the next goal does feel very important.
Hugely important, and I think a goal for Olympic doesn't put it to bed, but it definitely, like you said, a big uphill battle for Belconnen. Probably see a shape change if that happens pretty quickly.
McDonough, Preston. Bobbins started out on that flank. Alves sticking with her again. One back by Whittle, the goal scorer. Couldn't quite find Keisha with a through ball.
It's been on both sides with Perich and Alves, just really getting up into the winger's face and in their grill to make sure that they can't turn and put them on a foot race with their pace. So really important and really good job so far from them.
Roberts to turn, looking for DeCampley. Corrie gone outside looking for the wraparound pass. Didn't quite come. Steinecker finds Corrie. That's a good ball for DeCampley. Back for Hindmarsh. Steinecker. Corrie. Miro intercepts. Perich helps get it away, but it's going to come straight back again. McDonough. Going to slide it down the channel, and is almost a good ball for Preston. And you've been in these situations a lot of times in your career in cup semi-finals, leading at half-time. by narrowest of margins. How do they see it out here, Olympic? Do they play it in chunks? Do you look at it in chunks, or do you just go, well, we'll just go out and play what we did, like we did in the first half, because we did well enough?
I think the mindset needs to be, it's still 45 minutes and only takes, a second or two to score a goal. So if you start playing too negative too early, it could introduce a lot more pressure, and more pressure means more chances, and, more chances goals. So be conservative, but not too negative.
Yeah, and you don't want to give a team like Belconnen too many chances or too much possession, because if you do, they've got the players to create the opportunities, I guess.
And absolutely, we saw one clear chance that was sensationally saved off King there in the first half, but a couple of half chances too. But Belconnen have the ability to turn those half chances into goals.
King's made one good save. The rest of the chances were balls flashed across the penalty area, really, weren't they? No one able to find a touch. Pretty much the same at the other end, though, for Laurel Tice. She's made one really good save, but beaten by that ball that skipped off the surface in front of her. Roberts, Denton was dawdling, and Roberts almost found Martins. Corinne Denton will be relieved. They still haven't got it away, though. Preston, Highmarsh.
It's Belconnen a little bit too nice tonight in that front third, maybe, Russ.
Well, they haven't committed themselves, have they, as such? I'll tell you what, I'll come back to it in a second, because I do have a point to make. As Bronte Pike tries to send this across to the middle. Miro, I'm wondering whether the return of Janet King's changed their mindset a bit, because a lot of the times I've seen Belconnen this year, players haven't been afraid to have a dig from 20, 25 yards. Yeah, they know the quality of King and think, well, maybe I'm not going to beat it from there. Maybe they do need to take some risks. Like this, Preston having a go.
Yeah, just that last one that Roberts have, you really encourage her to take a big touch on her left foot and put one on target, but chose to pass, couple like that in the first half as well. So Janet's a great keeper, but if you're not going to shoot, you're definitely not going to score.
Some distribution as well, isn't it? But that's it. I think it might be a mindset thing. Someone's got to take it by the scruff of the neck and go, well, I'm going to have a go from here. Denton. Because the last thing you want to do is come away from a cup semi-final with any regrets. If you get beaten having thrown everything at it, and you alluded to this actually when we were talking down there at half-time, and you were alluding to that, your game against Central Coast. No regrets, you gave everything, and just beaten by a better side on the day with a bit of quality. Now Roberts might be in behind here. King started to come, and she's teed one up for Dick Campley, and King makes the save. Good start to the second half, but that's exactly what we're talking about. A bit more in terms of action and a bit more in terms of intent.
Absolutely great there. Great decision to pass the ball there. Dick Campley the inside to outrun. Shot on target. Probably didn't test Janet as much as she wanted to, King.
Beat it away, though, didn't she? 5 minutes into the second half.
That dewy surface will come into play.
Flag's gone up here, I thought, for a moment. Shouts for a penalty. Big shouts for a penalty. To be fair, not much from those on the field. And waved away pretty quickly. Here's Miro. Keisha's made a great run ahead if she can find it. That's going to ask a bit too much. McDonough quick across the grounds. Well, but Keisha's done brilliantly. And then McDonough's recovered again. Not for the first time tonight. McDonough seems to have played herself into trouble and then got herself out of it.
We called it with the ref early on that he let a couple of big challenges go. And he's kept the consistency, which is good. So the same level of challenges, not getting pulled up.
Don't mind the consistency, do you?
It's all about consistency with the refs.
Jensen. Perich back for King. Cup final Saturday 6th of June, I think it is. Saturday, or it might be the 7th.
Still don't know.
I still can't remember the date. I wrote it down a couple of times as well.
First weekend in June?
Yeah, well, it's actually the second weekend in June, if you're being technical about it.
I was going to say, because, 31st is Saturday.
Well, we should be able to work it out from there, shouldn't I? It's actually Saturday the 7th of June. There you go. I did write it down today to remind myself, and I keep thinking the 6th for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe we've got something happening on the 6th.
I'm angling for Friday night football.
Friday night cup finals. Frees the weekend up, doesn't it? I do love cup final Saturday, though. It is a big day in the calendar.
It is a big day. Where is it?
We don't know yet. The venue's 3 choices, and they'll make a decision.
Bidding war.
Bidding war. Wembley Stadium, one of them. Will fly over. Roberts. Martins tries to turn.
Really well there from Miro. The calmness, the composure, helped back, helped the defence. But not only that, still got an outcome on the way out. Dealt with 3 Belconnens and then still got a pass out. Fantastic.
Marsh. Switched this near side by Corrie, but picked off by Marzi. Jensen wants to send it to Keisha. It's not a bad ball, but Keisha come to the near side. Marzi will chase. Olympic haven't had much in terms of attacking threat in the first 7 minutes or so of the second half. I don't think it'll worry Frank Keisha too much, as long as they keep Belconnen at arm's length themselves.
Well, it was much the same the first half of the first half. They didn't have many attacks on goal, but still went into half-time 1-0 up.
Well, the brutal fact of the matter is that whilst you said the next goal's critical, Canberra Olympic don't need to score one, do they?
That's true too.
They've got one, and that's the difference. Should they not concede, they're in the final. But as you said, it's difficult to get in. Don't want to set yourself into that negative mindset in the first instance. Steinaker. Touch from Roberts. Finds De Campley. Steinaker again.
Belconnen bench sent for a warm-up.
I wonder if there will be a change sooner rather than later. Good foot in by Pike. Carnegie gets rid of it. Frank Keisha might be thinking the same, but he's kept his bench very much sat down at the moment. It's been all Blue Devils since the restart. Preston. Bobbin. Alves back there. Must have gone out of play. Jan Alves has done a brilliant job tonight. Young fullback. Sensational.
A little bit of gamesmanship there. Slowing the game down a little bit, getting the breath back.
Denton sends it away, but it's not sticking for those in the black shirts. Black with a touch of blue, if you want to be technical.
Nice looking strip.
Yeah, I like this one. Bobbin speeding down that flank again. Ball beats her out.
Just worried for Olympic, Russ, that playing out of possession football is not a bad thing. It's a good style of football if that's what you got and that's what you want to do. But just having that next step. So, you know, when you do win the ball, what are we going to do now? Where are we breaking into? Which area? Just a little bit more design on the what's next a little bit, because they're doing really well to keep Belconnen out of that back third or Belconnen's front third. But just what's next is just inviting this next wave of pressure.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much of it is by design or by the fact that that's the way they have to play here at the moment, because Belconnen are absolutely dominating the ball. Keisha, Marzi. It's not a usual way that Frank Keisha football teams play. However, you wouldn't put it past him having been tactically astute enough to figure out that that's the way to beat this Belconnen side, maybe.
And sometimes the best game plans the football out of the park dictates the game plan too. So Belconnen's pressure and Olympic being comfortable out of possession, it's working well so far.
Look at the pace of Bobbin. Absolutely burns past Alves, who's quick across the ground herself. Still going, Bobbin. You're going to send it in. It's come off Peric. Denton will clear. Pike there ahead of Marzi, who will keep her honest. Steinaker. De Campley.
Talked about Nikki Flannery before, Russ. I think that Kira Bomber, maybe you know, watch a video or two there. She's burnt Alves anywhere near halfway. She didn't have an angle to goal, so maybe she just needs to go to the byline and let her players get to the top of the box and deliver a cross. If she's not going to score herself, at least get the assist.
Nikki Flannery watching on tonight, apparently. So you tell us?
She's getting some game plans for the weekend.
McTurners ball forwards.
Good support from abroad. Oh, where is she? Is Melbourne abroad?
Well, I mean, it's technically another state, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a long way away, unless they blast that mountain in half and put a tunnel through it, in which case it'll be quite achievable in about 4 hours. 3.5.
Still wouldn't go there.
You've been there enough times this
I
year.
tell you what, this year we've had enough. We've had enough empty bags on the way home from there this year.
Sent you to Melbourne 3 weeks in a row, didn't they?
Yeah,
Like
they did, yeah.
Might as well have lived there.
Come home Monday, went back Thursday.
King's ball forward. In case you got there. Back for Marzi. Looking for Whittle. McDonough's got there first. Looking for Preston. Comes out for Martins. By the boot of Alves. Bobbin on the turn. And again, easy one for Janet King. She'll lap them up all night. But again, better from Belconnen. 58 minutes gone here, and they've had much the better of the second half so far.
Really have, and get that next step. And
Keisha was looking for the ball down the flank for Whittle. Didn't quite play it correctly.
a bit more angle there. Yeah, just Belconnen just find that next step and get those shots, just not on target, but really challenge Janet. Good little pocket here.
Ball towards Marzi, who's in behind it. It's Tatum Marzi for two. Great save. Loose for Whittle. And she does make it two. And much like the first half, it is smash and grab again. And Maddie Whittle, again, the player on the spot. And Canberra picks advantage.
Those forward pass in the first instance. Right to do, but
Hill has become more of a mountain. Canberra Big 2, Belconnen United 0. Half an hour to play. The Blue Devils need a response, and they need it soon. But Anne, how is cup football? That's what we talked about in the first half. Take your chances. One chance in the second half, and they buried it. And all of a sudden, despite being on the back foot for, what, 15 minutes, it's 2-0.
Wouldn't have been 30 seconds that you said Belconnen's really started this second half sensationally, and I have to agree with that 100%. And then one transition moment, one little lapse of concentration midfield from Belconnen to let them play that forward pass and cop another goal. Almost carbon copy of the first half, the way it went.
Swung into the area. Roberts couldn't get a touch. Perich touched it away. It's won back by Martins. Whittle does the defensive work. Now they can become the proverbial dogs of war and just get rid of it however you can.
Yeah, mindset changes from conservative to very negative now. Just hold out.
Corner kick's been given to the Blue Devils here.
Yeah. Frank wasn't happy with it. 30 minutes still a long time in football, plus extra time, you know. You don't need to, Belconnen don't need to win it now. They need to score, obviously, and then draw the match and then give themselves an extra 30 minutes.
Well, we did mention they've scored 45 goals in 7 games already this season. We don't expect them to end up with a blank sheet tonight. They are capable of getting several in quick succession, but with a goalkeeper who can do that, it makes it very difficult. Janet King through the crowd. Excellent work.
Sensational there by Janet. 45 goals in that many games. I'd probably say that they haven't had a goalless half either then this year, Ross.
No, I don't believe. The only game they've really been pushed in was the one I saw at Kaleen. They were 2-0 up against Croatia, and then were 15 minutes of madness, winning 3-2 down at the interval, only to win it 4-3 in the second half. Other than that, they've been giving everyone a little bit of a touch-up. 3-0 in the Charity Shield against Olympic, 5-1 in round 1, 11-0 against Tuggeranong, 8 against Mildura in the Cup quarter-final. The aforementioned 4-3 against Croatia, 4-2 against Gunners. Here's Miro on the turn to have a fizz goal, and again Laurel Ty funnels it away. And again Whittle's quickest to react, looking for Keisha in the middle. Might come out again for Miro. Vanzino, Canberra Olympic, sent to third. And just to finish those scores off, that 4-2 against Gunners, they were well in control of that and conceded a couple of quick ones. And then after that, it was 10 on the weekend against ANU.
And sometimes that's, you know, counterproductive to scoring that many goals. And sometimes those goals that they score, when those score lines are like that, they become a little bit easy. And then in the tougher matches, they're hard to come across. So hopefully those score lines haven't hurt them coming into this match.
Well, Canberra, it's worth reiterating, a Belconnen United Cup loss is about as rare as winning the lottery. Here's Deakin, 2 times in 12 years they've lost a cup tie. Will this be the third? Maybe you should go and buy a lottery ticket, Ant, if it does happen.
Just thinking, a loss over a lottery ticket. As a coach that loves to win, I'm still considering the lottery ticket a winning lottery ticket.
Martins, that's a firm challenge from Perich.
Heard that from over here.
Well, do you know, if you go and buy a lottery ticket now, because I put it in your head, I'm backed in 50%.
Minus transaction fees, right?
Oh, of course. Or is it just a 10% agency fee? Pike's throat. Well, speaking of taking a gamble, that's what the Blue Devils have got to do. Hi, Marsh.
Keisha's the highest player, probably, you know, just on top of her front third. So intense set for Olympic.
McDonough. That's a nice touch from Roberts. Deakin couldn't quite get there. King elects to clear it. Nobody within 15 metres of Maddie Steinacker. Loads of time to bring it down and bring it forward. Noticeable the movement isn't quite as sharp as it was earlier, though. Big fan of looking at body language of players as well, and in situations like this, and you want to see some belief in those Blue Devil shirts, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. People making it happen and picking up their mate next to them and bringing them along for the ride. So you're right, it's a little bit reactive at the moment from Belconnen. It's Olympics making it hard because they're not giving pictures to open up and just being pretty reactive themselves because they can.
Keisha's touch off. Jensen popped it forward.
And as much as, you know, 3-0 probably puts the game to bed, you'd have to think that Scott Conlon, and with a tactical sub or a change in shape, is going to have to be super brave pretty soon because the time is running out.
Vanzino driving through. Lovely run. Space out wide for Whittle, who's just gone a little bit too early. You're going to think that there's got to be a change coming soon, haven't you? 65 minutes gone. Well, we say soon.
Here it is, yeah.
There's one coming right now. And it's Perlteen, who's going to join us shortly. Having recently returned from Spain, she has scored, believe it or not, in the last 3 cup finals, Perlteen.
Cup finals?
In the actual cup finals itself. Her goal won it last year. That's some record, isn't it?
That's awesome.
Scoring 3 cup finals in succession. Some of us would be happy with 1.
Yeah, getting there sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Just appearing in some.
Yeah.
This will be an interesting change, though. Who will it be that will make way? Will it be one of the midfielders and a go for broke?
You start sacrificing the backline players. Like we look at Preston on the left back there. No one in 20 or 30 metres of us, the ball lands on her there. And, you know, can she be a bit more proactive? Do they still need 4 at the back with Olympics going to sit this deep?
Yeah, will it be one of the defenders that's dragged? I mean, it may as well be, mightn't it? You may as well lose 3 or 4 than 2.
Definitely consideration. At least get Preston and Pike a lot higher than they are currently.
Roberts into Corrie. Back again for Roberts. Couldn't quite take it in her stride. McDonough. Olympic camped within 30 metres of their goal. McDonough looking for Preston. That's going to zip away on this surface. The rain we've had over the last day here has made this quite a slippery surface, and it's unforgiving when you play those passes and they're a bit heavy.
On a pristine pitch like this, absolutely. Going back to all the tactical stuff, it's very easy to coach, right, Russ, up here.
It's much easier, isn't it?
There's no pressure.
Do you know, we've never missed a chance up here, either.
There's no context. It's easy.
Not quite as full on as it was when you sat down on the sideline, hey?
Lonely place there, mate.
Pike. Marty's staying with her. Bronte Pike again. Corrie has a dip. It zips into the hands of King. The good thing is, though, Anne, is that you've lived it and you've been there at this level as well. You know exactly what's going through Scott Conlon and Frank Keisha's minds right now. about where they're at in this cup tie and how important it is for the next 25 minutes or so.
Yeah, both equally stressful. Technical boxes over there, but, you know, Frank obviously would be a little bit happier.
I think it's a tough one for Scott Conlon, isn't it? These changes that you might need to make, because clearly he needs to do something because they're 2-0 down. But in the main, his team's played well. It
hasn't been a bad performance. It's been, you know, very Scott Conlon, very Belconnen. So it hasn't been a bad performance, but yeah, it does need something.
Well, this is a bit of a surprise, I think. Alex Martins is the player that's going to make way. Alex Martins, who scored 7 goals this season for Pearl Team. Interesting. Different kind of player.
Olympia have done a really good job to kind of box Martins in today with their shift and rotation in the unbalanced midfield. So maybe Pearl brings a little bit more mobility or change the picture.
We'll definitely keep Olympic honest. Marzi, Jensen, Peric on the stretch. First substitution then from Belconnen United. They're first to show their hand. They've got work to do. Maddie Whittle's brace. Canberra Olympic 2-0 ahead. Carnegie.
Probably said that once or twice, Rice. Maddie Whittle brace.
Yeah, down the years.
Yeah.
Has scored plenty of goals, Maddie Whittle.
And important ones to that.
Much like Britt Palombi, isn't it? They're just big game players that score in big games on regular basis. Often when they play these kind of games, it's not a question of if they'll score, but at what moment.
At what moment, exactly right.
Denton.
I think I heard you say about Britt last night coming back off injury. Didn't look her firing self, but her intent was still definitely there. Oh, good ball.
In behind the back for Miro, who's got there. Sending it across, and, well, it skipped away from Tatum Marzi. Peric has won it back, and so's Corrie. There was one chance for Britt Palombi yesterday. I would have literally put my house on her scoring when it came back off the bar, left-footed.
Oh, from the far side, far right, yeah. Oh.
Bobbin, well, that's going to be a card for Corinne Denton.
That's Carnegie,
no chance. Oh, sorry, Leah Carnegie, my apologies. Yeah, not a chance that it's going to be anything but a yellow card for the number 19. That's taking one for the team.
A few little arguments from Pike there about a red card.
Miles out, wasn't it? Yeah, when it came back off the bar on the left side and it broke to Palombi's left foot, you're thinking, well, that's in the net. And we're all going home. 193 goals and 199 league games for Britt Palombi. That's quite a phenomenal record.
And she should be upset with not being 1 for 1.
Absolutely.
Player of that calibre.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you're just waiting for hoping she's watching and winding her up right now. Changes afoot. This is going to be fun, figuring all this out over in the gloom. Maddie Whittle, the goal scorer, has made way for Nikita Perry. That's one change.
Preston and Roberts.
Looks like it. It's Maddie Sawkins over there, isn't it?
It is Sawkins, yeah. Can't.
Well, Preston's...
No, just giving the armband across the Steinacher.
So Sawkins for Roberts, it looks like. And is that Lisa Carey?
Yeah, tall one, must be.
In the gloom.
Yeah. So whether Sawkins is going to play higher or just like for like, I know it looks like she's getting higher.
Lisa Carey for Lauren Preston.
It must be a shape change.
Carey immediately pops herself up to the top of the penalty area for this free kick, which Eilish McDonough will take and swing it into the danger area. Again, too close to Janet King. Sound like a broken record sometimes, don't we? But she's been so comfortable with those. So
comfortable and
then can send it a long distance away from goal.
I'd argue to say she's found 15 or 20 metres on that kick over the summer.
19 minutes to play. 19 minutes plus stoppage time between Canberra Olympic and the final. Jensen driving through and wants a return ball from Keisha, not far away. Pearl Team doing the defensive work. There's an argument that Belconnen can make for 71 minutes of this football match, and it is an argument. You can have it both ways, and if you're an Olympic persuasion, you probably won't agree with it. But they've probably been the better side in terms of possession and in terms of territory. But the performance from Canberra Olympic has been more ruthless. They've had plenty of defensive work to do. But they've kept Belconnen at arm's length. It's like one of those cartoons, you know, where someone's trying to punch another person and they've got their hand out. They're trying to land.
Me, my little brother.
Yeah, they're trying to land a blow, but they can't get near enough to do so.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to maybe touch on before. And, you know, by design or by default, you know, Olympic playing out of possession, but their effectiveness out of possession has been sensational. Obviously, they're 2-0 up, but just keeping Belconnen, like you said, at arm's length. You know, Belconnen have not had a bad game, and they're playing Belconnen football and sticking passes and being proactive. It's just nullified with what Olympics done tonight.
Very good defensive display, and they've taken the opportunities that have come their way. The bonus of having a player of the quality of Maddie Whittle. Twice she's been the quickest to a rebound. Twice she's put the ball in the back of the nets, and that's the difference.
Huge, and I think that, you know, I'm not sure if Maddie played in the early games, but definitely Janet and Tiana Miro didn't, and Tiana's been fantastic in that 10 role tonight, and, you know, Janet's been her calm, composed self as well, so made a big difference for an Olympic tonight. Yeah,
Maddie Whittle's coming back from injury herself.
Okay.
In the 4 league games they played this year, 2 starts, 2 off the bench. There's been a few that have been through the ringer for Olympic in the early days.
Makes it hard for momentum, but maybe that's why those results over the last 3 or 4 weeks have got a bit more consistency and W's next to them.
Players that aren't here tonight, of course, like Sienna Burney, for example, Elka Atulu.
Did I see her on crutches?
We saw on crutches earlier as well. Hattie Cram for Belconnen's also on crutches, having got injured in the Charity Shield.
I saw that challenge, yeah.
A few players down and out at the moment. Liv Gurney injured as well for Olympic. It's been a truncated start to the season, especially for Frank Aisha's team. But like you say, getting Miro and King back, 2 players that now have, well, 1 player who has definitely played in the A-League. And Janet King's had a lot of experience. Should have learned a fair bit, I'd imagine.
She got to, you know, 8 contacts a week, Russ, and under Tim's sensational goalkeeper coach, and worked next to Sally and Coco, and obviously Georgia, up-and-coming goalkeeper as well. So, but take nothing away from that. She put the work in, and she's reaping the rewards definitely tonight, but over the summer, and how happy she was, and the feedback that she gave us, the environment where she wants to stay in.
You've been involved in football in Canberra for a long time, much like myself, Anne, and I don't know what it is in the water down here, but we do breed incredibly good goalkeepers.
Proper bang for buck goalkeepers we produce, don't 100%.
100%. Yeah. So many of them around. Very good ones.
And even centre-backs as goalkeepers.
Yeah, Helen Brown last night just giving light to the fact that you need to be a full-stretch goalkeeper. Made some wonderful saves last night. That flick on is looking for for Pike, rather.
Just having a giggle now and a flashback. Karen Clark was a sensational centre-back / goalkeeper.
She scored a lot of goals as well. That's offside. And a lot of goals from distance too.
Yeah, she
liked to bang from halfway.
She always said they were shot, but I'm not sure they always were.
Definitely claim them, I'm sure.
Oh, she definitely centre-backs claim everything, Russ.
But yeah, we do create some really good goalkeepers. I mean, in both the men's and women's game. Highmarsh brings that down beautifully. Teen. Picked off by Perich. It's a loose one from Jensen. Highmarsh again. Into the final quarter of an hour. McDonough could stretch the legs and drive forward. And then the pass isn't good enough again. Maddie Sawkins was never getting on the end of that.
Still see Belconnen with 3 uncontested, you know, back in their middle third. They've just got to start being a lot braver and more proactive and, you know, start taking maybe that 1v1 and risk at the back. At the moment, they're leaving a 3v no one. So a little bit braver. Maybe the youngness in the team, Russ, a little bit of experience. I think both teams are quite young. There's a few flashes of experience there. But
I've talked about this down the years now. This young team that Scott Collins put together, they're still very young. The difference being now is that because they've been to finals and won finals, we now expect rather than think it's a surprise that they get there. And they've brought that on themselves by being consistently good.
Absolutely, and you know, young, but it takes these moments now. You know, I look across there, a couple of the senior players, Belconnen. You know, Kira Bobbin, she's been playing first grade football since 2019 now. So you know, who's going to step up and do that with this many young players on the park? It's, you know, Bronte Pike. You know, what's she going to do out in the next 15 or so odd minutes?
Corrie has a go again, and again it's not going to test Janet King. And they just looking around at the moment, bereft of ideas. Belconnen.
Bit flat.
And Canberra Olympic, and it'll be music to the ears of Frank Cation and his coaching team. They're crushing the life out of this Belconnen side at the moment. De Campley defensively.
Discipline.
Yeah, wonderful performance. And when it's gone through like that, there's been King to sweep up and tidy. Every player's done their job out there at the moment. Still not over, though. Still time for the cup holders to try and get back to regain their trophy. At the moment, we're set for a Canberra Classico on Saturday, the 7th of June.
At Wembley.
Wembley. Men's final will follow the women's that day. I think provisionally it's 12:30 for the women's and 3 o'clock for the men's. I think that might be the provisional kickoff times.
Good turn.
Lovely from Corrie, and a chance to drive forward, and Carnegie sticks a leg out. Kind of sums up what's been happening so far.
Yeah.
Perry.
And not to take anything away from Olympic and their defensive shape there, Russ, as someone's crampies, I think. But not to take anything away from Olympic and their defensive, shutout here, but Belconnen in that the third or fourth touch is really slowing down their attack and letting Olympic get back into it. You know, that run there, great turn. If she releases that on the second or the third pass, it probably gets in behind. The fourth or the fifth touch there really gets Olympic behind the ball and able to get a toe onto those through balls and clear lines like they're doing tonight really well.
Jane Van Zeno it is that's stretching it out. I'm going to ask you a question, and whether or not you agree with this. On the weekend, Belconnen United had a 10-0 stroll against ANU. Canberra Olympic, well, they were made to work really hard for their 2-1 win over West Canberra Wanderers. Are they more battle-hardened then, perhaps, coming into this contest than Belconnen might be? Or is that just another myth?
Look, I'm a pretty big believer as a coach that you play the way that you train, and coming back off the weekend, it's definitely not training. It's a match, but if it's a battle for Olympic, they're much more up for it. Maybe Belconnen had their foot off it and came in a little bit easier and got blindsided early on today.
James Van Zeno's day is done. Georgia Chowdhury has come on. A lot of raps on this young player.
Yeah, a bit of chat about her.
Chance to prove herself. What do we got there? 10 minutes or so to play. Probably been told to go on and make a nuisance of yourself. Gone into the forward position at the moment, which is probably going to mean that Keisha's going to drop deeper. Jensen. Marzi. Yeah, it looks like Maddie Keisha's playing in front of the back four, doesn't it?
Yeah.
McDonough.
Steinacker's. Got herself out of trouble again.
Again,
yeah.
Not for the first time.
It's like Steinacker stepped up too, out of the back line into the midfield for Belconnen. So
Perry, Chowdhury gets after it. That challenge from McDonough is going to bring a free kick. And Canberra Olympic. Georgia Chowdhury's up and bounding away, and more experienced players probably having a bit of a lay down for a while. Especially at this stage of the game of 81 minutes gone at 2-0 up in a cup semi-final. Carnegie over the free kick.
Brings her into shooting range, but a little bit wide.
A third Olympic goal now would surely be curtains for the cup holders. Carnegie's just asking Frank Cation maybe she should have a pop. Well, thumped it towards goal. It does.
So just now, Belconnen have got to go. If they want to get back into this game, the speed, they've got to get 5-6 numbers up front. Protection in the back line now is non-existent.
Brilliant touch from Pedic. Nice from Jensen as well. And has it back from Marzi. Yeah, it's time to throw the proverbial kitchen sink at it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We have seen in football down the years that 2-0 with 9 minutes to play or 8.5 minutes to play isn't insurmountable. Peric. Sawkins back defending. McDonough stabs it clear. Alves in there with Bobbin. Physical again. This time the free kick goes away, the Blue Devils. Corrie. Nice ball for Bobbin. Sawkins into the area. Popped away. Corrie's volleyed it back. Miro nods it clear. Again from Bobbin. Once again threatening without getting anywhere near, causing a problem for Janet King. It's almost like you said, they've conceded ground up to about 25, 30 minutes from goal and said it's okay for you to have a pop from there. We don't mind.
We don't mind, yeah.
And then once they've got any closer than that, then comes the press, then comes the force of the turnover. And Belconnen just haven't been able to find a way through.
And it's on purpose.
Yeah, tactical masterclass, you'd have to say at the moment.
Really good.
Well, that made me a bit sick in my mouth then, that about Frank's.
I'm not going to say it out loud, but
I'm sure he'll tell me all about it tomorrow. Let's come up with a game plan, and fair play. The coaching staff over there in the Canberra Olympic bench, it's worked a treat. Should take this time to say congratulations to Matt Casey for being named Director of Football at Canberra Olympic in the week.
Oh, good on him. Men's and women's?
Yeah, he stepped up to the job.
Oh, good.
Tough one as well. Big club, that.
Big expectations.
Come back to it in a minute. Carey, DeCampley, Teen. DeCampley just a little bit intricate. Carey across the middle, and there's a stab goalwards and in. Pearl Teen slides in, and there's a glimmer of hope for Belconnen United. In the 84th minute, it's the substitute who's pulled one back. Game on.
It's good to see Pearl get a little bit higher up the park than she has been since she's come off, and good football, and that two-touch football, you know, ball out wide, nice cutback, and intent to finish. 2-1, game on.
For the first time, they've created an opening, and Carey's cross was spot on. Teen got away from her marker, slides it in, and we've got a cup tie. Now it'll be nervy.
And test now for Olympic, you know, does the nerves take over, or do they keep doing what got them to this position for, 80-odd minutes, 83, 4 now?
Miro, Jensen, Peric all suddenly becomes a bit nervy, doesn't it? Denton forwards.
Now, which of the senior players or more experienced players now for Olympic are going to manage out this match now?
Well, we didn't expect Belconnen not to score. They always score.
Yeah.
Question is whether they can get 2 in the time that's left, or at least 1 to send it to extra time. Marzi out of play. Just as we were talking about the defensive masterclass, it comes undone with one piece of intricate skill on the edge of the box. It was nicely worked.
It's great football. 2-touch, tiki-taka.
Lovely finish as well, just slid in, Team.
On a platter too, mind you.
Has to be there, though. Get away from the marker. She wants 4 cup final goals in a row.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking,
Get there and do it again. Chandri's ball finds Peric. Pressed with DeCampley. Free kick goes away of Belconnen again. Greeted by roars in front of us.
Just that little bit of experience I was talking about with Peric.
Harmarsh goes square.
Halfway foul. Slow the game down.
Well, we're in the 86th minute, and strap yourself in because this is going to be some finish, I think. Bobbin. Corrie. Scrappy clearance. Half cleared. All of a sudden, Belconnen United believe again. Their body language is up. They'll feel they can do this. Isn't it funny? You don't look like scoring for 84 minutes, and all of a sudden there's a belief you can get
a winner,
an equaliser, and not only that, a winner as well. Get themselves back into the game. It's incredible.
Look, the way that the temperature just dropped, if they're going to score 2. I'm not sure about this extra time business.
Well, we went the distance last night. Janet King forward. Will we go the distance again? Pike. Touch from Carey. Steinecker to lift it forward. Denton got a head on it and then half scuffs it away. Steinecker, as Ant says, playing as a striker in the last few minutes. Carey in again. She's made a difference since she's come on, adding that width. Chowdhury steps away and does well. Pike's in there strong. No free kick given. Chowdhury bounces back to her feet again. McDonough's ball forward is good, but Perry steps in. Sorry, Alves in the first instance, then Perry, who goes down, and this will be a free kick. Tiana Miro cramping up now in the middle of the park. And I don't think anyone in the Canberra Olympic shirt will be too rushing to go and take this. Leah Carnegie then, in the 88th minute of an absorbing cup semi-final. One that Canberra Olympic looked to have in their pockets at one stage.
After the initial minute or so after the goal, I think that it's kind of settled down again, back towards Olympics' favour, back towards their game plan.
McDonough. Steinecker's touch. Highmarsh driving forward. Carey looks to slide it through. Highmarsh bounces off Jensen. Can she find a delivery? It's not a bad-looking ball in. Carnegie's got a touch. It's come out for Teen through the crowd and turned in! Deflected and goal! And Pearl off the bench has a double. And Belconnen United have rescued themselves with 1 minute to spare. It's 2-2.
As soon as that ball went into the mixer and didn't get cleared, and it was tasty for Pearl. The technique that she's got in her locker and her bounce perfectly. Head over the ball, outside of the foot, and then nice deflection too. But 2-2. Score another one now, someone.
Extra time looming large in the near future. Pearl Teen in the 84th and 89th minutes, seeing Maddie Whittle's brace. And we are looking like an extra half an hour.
Talked early on, Russ, about the substitutions making a difference, and both times that Pearl's gone into the front third, she's made a difference. 2 goals there, so sensational. Before that, Maddie Steinecker set an easy Highmarsh up on a forward run by overloading the midfield there, and 2-touch football. Sensational to see there from Belconnen, and unpick that midfield that Olympic done really well to hang on to for most of the match.
It took a nick, but it was already going in, I think, wasn't it, from Pearl Teen?
I think before the deflection, it was going in sweeter, yeah.
The defender tried to clear it and just helped it into the back of the net because there was no way they were going to stop that. Miro to step away. Tiana Miro to lift it into the middle. Missed by everyone. Picked up by Marzi. Came off of Pike. Kerry got there. And now might break. DeCampley's got space this side if she can find her. Alyssa DeCampley's in here. Janet King's racing to meet her and gets there first. And something happening in backfield, perhaps. There's cramp for Pike right in the back left-hand corner, back in the penalty area. But the noise from the fans. King thought about coming, then stopped, then did come. And we're into stoppage time, of which there's going to be 4 minutes. And we're into the first of those 4. This is about when I get the text out for the babysitter again. And
lucky, yeah, it's child labour. You're paying $8 an hour.
Not quite that much.
Paying your eldest to look after the youngest.
She's not quite of that age yet, but eventually it will be.
And then it's $8 an hour.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then it's just a McDonald's, isn't it?
Actually, that's expensive these days.
You can live in my house. That's Perich forward. It looked like it was Canberra Olympics night. But Belconnen do what Belconnen do, score twice in quick succession. We talked about tactical masterclass, and it's just come undone.
I think you talked about it, Russ, so we're clear.
Well, you were talking about keeping them at arm's length and all that kind of thing as well. Ball forward for Chowdhury.
Don't want Frank yelling at me tomorrow.
It wasn't it. The way that they've got themselves back into it, they credit to Scott Conlon for taking that risk.
Brave, risk, proactive.
McDonough brings it down. Been a proper tussle this one though, hasn't it? It's been excellent. Jensen sends it forward.
And how fun is football, right? So 2-0, Olympic pretty calm. Matty Whittle, I think you said about some injury. You know, looking cautious game on the weekend. Van Zeno went down with cramp, pulled her off. So two experienced players come off, you know, at 2-0 up. And then now that's two wall players that you probably rely on the back end of matches, not on the park. Equally, Martins and Preston off for Belconnen and reap the rewards.
Hamash whips it across to this near side. Pike sends it forward. It'll roll out of play. And in the 93rd minute of 94. Helped on by Jensen. Carey. Ball from Pike. Now DeCampley might be in behind here. Alyssa DeCampley. And King can't get there. And it's cleared off the line by Alves, I think he was, doing the covering work. Belconnen almost stole it.
Well, some ball by Pike, and DeCampley, the cutback was sensational, and beat King on that front post, and then the looping header Alves, sensationally calm. In a big moment of the match to kind of keep that out, and a big moment it was.
And we will go to extra time. Anthony Yagarinitz, it looked like it was Olympics night with 6 minutes to play, but the introduction of Pearl Teen has changed the dynamic. 2 goals from the substitute, who I mentioned has scored 3 goals in the last 3 cup finals. Well, they're right back in the contest, and it's anyone's game now.
Absolutely, probably momentum in Belconnen's favour now, and you know, Olympic going to have to pick themselves up mentally and, you know, get through still 30 minutes of football now to get themselves, you know, back to win the match, and if not, into penalties.
Well, we will take a very quick break, and we'll be back for extra time, because at full time here in the Federation Cup semi-final at the AIS, it's Canberra Olympic 2, Belconnen United 2. Welcome back to Federation Cup semi-final action, brought to you by our sponsors Allstate Towing, Electro Tinj, Deakin Club, Kitro Excavations, Rhythm Snowsports, Canberra PC Repair, LG Hooker and Xela Constructions. It is extra time. Anthony Yagaranitz is with myself, Russ Gibbs, for this. We got at least half an hour to go, Ant. Maybe penalties just like yesterday.
David Jordan special, free football, hey?
Love free football, don't we? Half an hour of it. First touch for Sawkins. Almost slid in. So what do Canberra Olympic do to pick themselves up off the canvas here? And because they had this one.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a real mental test more than anything. You know, the game plan worked really well for long periods of time to kind of hold them out and play on transition. But maybe a few changes unsettled that, and definitely Belconnen going to a back three, which looks like they've gone back to a back four and gone back to getting settled again. So might work back to Olympics' favour. But I think the mental challenge is the main thing.
Temperature dropped again.
Good reverse.
Slipped in for Carey, who's backing herself to the byline and can only find Janet King. Plenty of time to send it forward. Bounce through to McDonough. Well, Canberra Crow will be waiting. Maybe they were working the game plan out against Canberra Olympic in the 84th minute. That's ripped up and out the window, isn't it? Carey sent it into the middle. Bobbin couldn't quite get there. Comes for DeCampley, couldn't wrap a foot around it. Good start to the first period of extra time by the Blue Devils.
Absolutely, and great ball by Bronte Pike, and slid across the service, took Janet King out of the picture, and no one on the back stick. And yeah, you're right, Russ. DeCampley didn't get a leg around it. Better left foot than that, that's for sure.
Looking around, there's a lot of blankets coming out, isn't there? As the temperature drops. How's your feet? Mine are getting a bit cool.
I'm just on that, just okay at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's standing on this metal gantry
metal,
as well.
yeah.
It doesn't help you, the warmth. Bobbin looking to shake off Perry. Stuck to it well and finds a good ball for Chowdhury. Pike, McDonough. Sawkins scampers forward, and it's a lovely slide rule ball for Bobbin, who's got goal side of Perry, who recovered really well at the expense of a corner.
Great ball there by Sawkins, and that into-out run, keeping the width for Belconnen has started to really pay dividends. The back end of the match and into extra time twice so far.
Maddie Sawkins, New Zealand international fullback, played in the Under-17 World Cup.
Good on her. Big future ahead of her.
Brings a fair bit of experience at such a young age, having played in that sort of tournament. Marsh with this corner kick. Swings it into the area, and there's a header from McDonough climbing through the crowd.
Caught that really well. Got off the ground sensationally. I think the most of the pressure came from Bronte Pike as opposed to someone from Olympic.
What have either side got? Not just mentally, but physically as well. Because whilst that wasn't a slog and it was good to watch, that would have taken a lot out of them, that 90 minutes.
Yeah, and still relatively early in the season as well. So for 90 minutes of football, then add 30 minutes on top of that. Coolish tonight as well. Cramps don't love the cold.
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm Marsh.
I said cold, not old.
Feeling the crap, mate. Stiffening up. Sawkins. I mean, they're whinging about extra time. I've done extra time in 2 nights in a row, mate.
Yeah, exactly. That's good conditioning.
Bobbin. Sleep well at nights when you do that anyway, so...
You'll probably have a week off now, Russ, won't you?
Got a couple of days off till the weekend. Thursday, Friday is my weekend.
Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, best.
Before we go all round again.
Good for some.
It did work Saturday, Sunday. So have some time off. Kat Perich passes the captain's armband over to Janet King. And the substitution. I think that's Natalia Cern, I think, that's been sent on.
Looks like, yep.
Onto this near side. Again, another player with big raps about it.
Just thinking there that Kat Perich and having to deal with Bob and not the Campley, though, you know, for 90 or 100 minutes now is just slowing down a little bit. And Frank's going, you know what? Some young and energetic kind of slow those runs behind down and get back to the game plan that they had the first 80 odd minutes.
Slotted in at fullback. What is it with fullbacks these days? Every single one of them seems to be very tall, Ant. Seems to be going down that path.
The athleticism in those areas, you know.
Mind you, your fullbacks weren't particularly the tallest, were they?
No, actually probably two shortest in the team. Equally athletic, but...
Carnegie forward.
Both had sensational seasons. Bert Alicio and Taylor Young.
Acknowledged at the Canberra United Awards night last week. Was that last week or was that the week before now?
2 weeks, I think.
Is that 2 weeks ago? Where's it gone? It was a while ago anyway.
Maybe it was last week.
Was it last week?
Yeah,
See,
last
we
week.
don't know.
Yeah.
We have no idea. That's what working in sport does to you, isn't it?
Yeah.
No idea what day of the week it is.
Yeah. Football never sleeps. Ask Alan Marin.
I saw him on the weekend. I was down at the Tuggeranong United match with O'Connor Knights, and there was juniors playing, and he was there with his family.
Was he at the tuck shop?
He wasn't at the time.
Oh,
he, was
no,
he was sat there with his wife and daughters watching O'Connor juniors.
Legends of a family, the Marins.
He may have gone to the canteen afterwards. They did have roast pork on. Sends throw. McDonough. The Campley a little heavy for Belconnen. And talk about the relative young players on the Belconnen side. Quite a few young ones on the Olympic lineup now.
Yeah, absolutely. And good to give them opportunity and a bit of trust in a big match at a pivotal time.
Corey's still got loads of energy from somewhere. Carey. Done really well in that advanced forward role.
Really good since she's come off the bench. Different kind of player and just kept her width a little bit more as well. And she's found herself out there.
Dare I say, does this look like going all the way to penalties again? Bobbin. If it does the advantage swing back in favour of Olympic with Janet King in goals? I mean, Laura Ty's a great goalkeeper herself, but King with a bit more experience.
Yeah, it's a tough one too, right?
Absolutely.
Because a lot of experience now on the bench for Olympic that obviously can't take him now, so the nerves kick in for the young ones.
Yeah, Matilda Laura Ty is a decent goalkeeper. It might even go that way. Very cross.
Tell us what you really think, Bronte.
Yeah, Bronte Pike. Obviously had enough of the hair in the ponytail in the first half, put it into the braid.
Into the braid.
Maybe that's the goal-scoring braid. You right there, Michael? Choking away next to us.
Yeah, the camera packed up in the 80th minute.
Yeah, he was packing his gear. Heading off to KFC or something for a bite to eat on the way home. Be all shut now, wouldn't it? Probably better for us. Cern steps in. Teens won it back. Space for Carey to have a run. Pike on the overlap again. Good drop of the shoulder. Good run too, and a good ball in. Chowdhury's going to help it away here to Marzi. Now is there a break on for Miro? Couldn't get it into her stride. Pattern of the first half of extra time, much like second half of the 90 minutes. Mostly Belconnen possession. Tempers fraying a little. Some pushing and shoving. Now, who's that for? Is that for the player not retreating, or is that for the person shoving? Take your pick.
Look, there's arguments there to be said that if you're going to push someone away, if you've deemed it to be a yellow card and you've deemed that you're putting your hands on someone else, is it just a yellow?
Or was it Marzi for not retreating? I don't know.
No.
I have no idea. It was pointed in the general direction of someone. Chances are it would be for the player not retreating, but then you put your arms on someone, so that should be a yellow card as well.
Yeah.
Let's just give one each.
Easier. Sit on the fence.
Yeah, no idea.
Is that a little bit of into the inside of what Olympic want, but Marzi's not letting the quick play? Are they playing for penalties? Is that an early insight to that?
Just trying to slow the tempo down a bit. I think Belconnen are creating the better chances at the moment, aren't they?
Definitely. And a little bit of zip that they were missing.
Ball play forward again, and Belconnen feel that they might have this turned. Carey, Pike, Hindmarsh. Hindmarsh again. Chance for Curry. Can she get the shot away? She can, but it's fizzed the wrong side of the post. As far as Belconnen are concerned, they are looking the most likely right now.
Campion made a sensational run inside, and I think just the first touch took her away from that, but she was dead centre, penalty spot on the blind side. Didn't get the ball that she wanted, but looked definitely on top there. 2 or 3, albeit wide, but 2 or 3 good opportunities.
I was talking earlier on about the Canberra Olympic Masterclass. Hats off to Scott Conlon for the changes, because that's what's made the difference. Lisa Carey's introduction down the flank and Teen through the middle to score twice.
Definitely. We talked about the subs making a difference. Just off that goal kick off Janet King, where it just keeps dropping to Belconnen. Maybe because Janet hasn't played a huge amount of games yet with this current squad, but the ball keeps dropping consistently 5 or so metres over half-time, always to a Belconnen player.
Not many Canberra Olympic players are guessing where it's going to go. Carnegie's launched his goalwards, spits off the surface, and Laurel Tai, well, fumbles it behind. I think it was a question of let's just get it away rather than spill it out in front, because it was a horrible bounce off the surface again.
Yeah, and well struck. It's on target, and that real awkward spot for keepers. Safety first.
First chance to see Canberra Olympic as an attacking threat in extra time. Marzi's corner into the middle. Half cleared. And the whistle goes for Belconnen free kick.
Is that Olympics' first corner?
In the extra time, yeah.
In the game?
Can't be the first one in the game, can it? I think we've had a few more. Then what do the stats say there? Do we have corner kicks on there? Probably not, no. It says 2-2 on the scoreboard, though. Do you know what, though? Every time that there's a whistle like that in the penalty area, you wonder, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So what's happening here? Changes. Is that Chowdhury go? Oh, no, that's Jensen. Off. Ella Brown on.
Keisha, orange boots?
Tia Burridge and...
Yeah, it's Keisha. I think's come off.
Is that Maddie Keisha?
She had the orange boots on, didn't she? I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Burridge for Jensen. And the second change was Ella Brown for Maddie Keisha. That is the bench emptied for Canberra Olympic. Bit of a reshuffle up top again, perhaps. Miro. Cern. Hindmarsh nods it forward. Corrie bursts through the challenge of Jensen. and carries on. And Annika Corrie and has a go. Oh, hits the post. It's come for Kerry, who puts Belconnen ahead. Corrie's effort off the base of the post. And in the last minute of the first half of extra time, Lisa Carey off the bench on the score sheet. And Belconnen from 2-0 down are 3-2 ahead.
Great little first shot there and bounce back off the post. And Lisa Carey, right place, right time there. Hint of offside potentially, Russ, as the ball came back out. But linesman said, no, play on, and 3-2.
The magic of the cup indeed, if you're of a Blue Devils persuasion. They look dead and buried in the 84th minute, and all of a sudden they're the ones in the box seats.
Talk about coach killers. You make 2 attacking subs, and within a minute you cop a goal. Those ones hurt.
All credit to the Blue Devils for coming back into it in such a fashion. We're into stoppage time at the end of extra time's first period. Carnegie will take its Olympics turn to seek a way back into it. Another dramatic night of cup action. Carnegie, flat ball in. Cern got a touch. Shot was half charged down. Carnegie again. That's looped away from the target. And that'll do us for the first half of extra time. And Belconnen United, Anthony Jagellinic, they have turned this on its head. Remarkable scenes. Credit to Scott Conlon and his troops who, as I said, with 6 minutes to go, we were writing them off. And perhaps we should have learnt from a few weeks ago when Tuggeranong were playing Ugali that it's never over till it's over. They've scored at great times, and what a time to get yourself in front 60 seconds before the halftime break.
Any time's a good time to go in front, but absolutely just momentum shifted there after a couple of substitutions. Great finish. Carry off the bench as well. So both goal scorers off the bench. So sensational use there from Conlon off the bench. And you know, they were working themselves into it. And we talked early on about, you know, giving Belconnen chance after chance after chance. You know, they might hurt you, you know, scoring 45 or 48 now in 10 or so games or less. So
8 matches, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So they've got goals in them, and, you know, 3 now in 20 minutes or so. So game on. Olympic have to find something now, you know, out of the box. Now they're going to have to be brave. And I think the difference now is with Olympic is Belconnen has the potential to score 2 or 3 more goals if Olympic aren't careful. But at 2-3 down doesn't matter. Sorry, at 3-2 down doesn't matter.
Whittle off, Peric off, Vantino off, the experienced players pretty much all off for them. What can they find, if anything, to find their way back into this? Can you see them coming back into it? Which one of these players is going to step up?
There's still match winners out there for Olympic, definitely. Ella Brown knows where the back of the net is. Tiana Miro's obviously a class player. You know, Tia Burridge, goal scorer as well. So it's about being brave now. And you know, what's the mindset of Belconnen too? Do they sit, or are they going to keep playing football? You know, still have Kira Bobman out there, DeCampley up top. You know, going to play on transition pretty comfortably now. So interesting tactical battle now for the next 15 minutes.
Which way will it go? Who will blink? Who will be seen off? Earlier on, apologies, I thought I said that Jensen had gone off. I think it was actually Liana Alves who had made the way. Saw her walking over towards the bench. Come back to that in a minute. Here's DeCampley. Scooped away by Denton. So it was Alves that went clear. Went off earlier. Jensen's still out there. Steinecker. Good ball forward for Pike here. Cross isn't bad either. Jensen's touch wide. Perry can burst down this flank. Looking for Miro, but only finds Pike. That's a great ball in behind. The angle run from De Campley is spot on. Alyssa De Campley looking to seal it. A deflection off of Carnegie. Well, almost took it across the penalty area. It's come back for De Campley. Corrie. Teen. Down under the challenge. No foul there. Corrie goes for goal. And an easy one for King, but Belconnen not settling for 3.
Yeah, testament to the athlete Bronte Pike here. She made a 60-metre run, then transitioned 50 metres backwards, played a forward ball after having cramps in the 80th minute. Right, sensational. Good bit of leadership there too, and fantastic athleticism.
Sawkins, oh, that's a great ball. Here's a chance for Bobbin. Kira Bobbin to seal it, and she's put it wide. Well, you would have put a fair bit on that, ending up in the back of the net. Once Kira Bobbin got onto that left foot, and a major surprise is she didn't at least hit the target.
Yeah, the sensational ball there by Maddie Sawkins, and well weighted, and credit to Janet King there, made herself big and played cat and mouse with Kira to the last second, and, you know, won that little jewel there. Bobbin putting it wide. Mustn't have had much goal to shoot at.
Surprised she went near post when the shot across the keeper might have been the option. But as I said earlier, we don't miss from up here.
Never missed.
Bury that in the bottom corner from these positions. But yeah, the weight on the ball from Sawkins, first class.
Yeah.
Again, another substitute who's come on and made the difference here. And unfortunately for Canberra Olympic at the moment, Belconnen look more like getting a 4th than Olympic do a 3rd.
3rd, yeah.
Sawkins descended into the area. I think it was Cern who won the header. Brown finds Jensen. Nice step in field. Burridge picked off by Carey. Time the enemy of Canberra Olympic Football Club. If they want to make the cup final, they need a goal to send this to penalties. Sawkins. Nice turn. Low centre of gravity, and we talk about players that might be deceptively fast. She's got a turn of pace on her, Maddie Sawkins, out there at fullback.
She does, and, you know, shorter players are really hard to tackle too, but you don't see much of the ball when they're turning and pivoting on that, and that first 2 or 3, 5 metres for Sawkins is really good, especially with the ball at her feet.
McDonough. Bobbin. Sorry, that was Tina then. Oh, no, De Campley, my apologies, over in the dark side. McDonough away again. Sawkins won it back. Perry for Olympic. Carnegie couldn't quite find the through ball. Into the 110th minute, 10 to play. 10 minutes between Belconnen and yet another cup final. Carnegie's throw. Miro. Tiana Miro goes for goal. Well, the dip had Laura Tai worried for a moment. I think she had it covered though, the goalkeeper.
Tell you what, she was pretty calm about it.
Dipped late, didn't it?
It did dip late, and it's hit the back of the net, so it wasn't too far away.
Kimi John just wants the goalkeeper to get on with it. A remarkable cup tie again. Olympic led 2-0. Now they trail 3-2.
I think that down as one of the great comebacks. If it stays this way.
Corrie. Done well defensively, Cern. But the ball's at the right end of the park as far as the Blue Devils are concerned. Slight lull before the final reckoning. Sorkin's throw. Had it back again.
What does Frank now have in his bag of tricks? To change the shape, to be brave, to risk it. Coming to the clinch time now. 8.5 or so minutes to go, is it?
Yeah, round about that. Plus whatever's added on. Another late night in the nation's capital for cup football. Swung into the penalty area. Denton away. McDonough got there. At the moment, Canberra Olympic are the ones whose body language is changing. They're the ones that need to lift themselves.
In possession there, they're very slow to get into position, and we know what Janet's going to do. She's dropping that ball 5 metres over halfway every time again.
Ella Brown couldn't get a touch on it. There must have been a time. Scott Conlon must have thought, well, this one's not going our night. And now all of a sudden, they're so close to glory again into another final. Bobbing to slide it through. Team might get there. And that's a clash with King. And a sore one for both. Brave from the goalkeeper, brave from Teen. Every right to go for the ball, I think, Bill Teen in that situation.
I think it's
but caught Janet King on the head, I think, didn't she?
Yeah.
Well, this will add a few more minutes onto the clock. We've got 7 to play. Reminder, the next week, men's cup football takes centre stage. Tuesday night, South Jererbomba Regional Sporting Complex. Queanbeyan City versus Tigers FC. 6:30 kickoff, and then on Wednesday, attention turns to Canberra 2. Tuggeranong United versus Canberra, Croatia. Ireland Australia Cup qualifying semi-final action from the national capital. All roads lead to the final on Saturday, the 7th of June. Canberra, Croatia already there. Belconnen United, well, they're 6 minutes plus whatever this stoppage time will be from joining them. It's been a quite remarkable evening. Enjoyed by a reasonable crowd in front of us. A lot of players from both teams from the junior sections are around.
Midweek football and free football too, can't get it wrong.
Long journey home for myself though, mate. How far are you from here?
7 minutes.
7. I've got about a 40-minute drive after this.
That's 3 McDonald's and 2 KFCs for you, but...
Well, no time, mate. We
no
get back
time.
to the babysitter.
The babysitter.
Every second costs me more dollars. She's loving it. Racking up the bank balance.
And a cheese pizza.
Janet King, not in a good way at the moment.
Don't like when you see the physios brace the neck.
And Yelena Josipovic is stripped and ready to go.
So what happens here? So you can have 6...
You can have the extra sub.
Yeah, but they've already had the
in
window.
Stoppage time. Have they used it in stoppage time?
Yeah, they just brought Ella Brown on with Tia Burridge.
So they brought them both on the same time. When did they bring Chowdhury and Cernal at the same time though as well?
Oh, so they might have one more window.
They might still have one more window. Yeah.
Okay. But then there's a concussion rule too, right?
There is as well. I'm not sure how it will work. I think Frank Asia just chatting with the officials about it. But whether they have got another window, I'm not sure. But they haven't been taking notice of the actual windows. King, thankfully, is on her feet. But time is ticking away.
Maddie Whittle was definitely by herself. Kat Perich was by herself.
So Fuller was by herself and Perrich was by herself. They've also brought on
Van Needs chain.
Brown as well. I mean, it might be moot. Janet King might be okay. Mara Ratowski is going to come on here. And they subbing a sub here.
Teen.
I think it is Teen going off. 2 goals.
She was stretching camp out for about 10 minutes. About 10 minutes ago as well, so maybe injury or...
Bit of defensive cover. I mean, Ratowski will run all day long.
Run through brick walls too.
And Janet King seems okay to carry on.
Good news for her.
And that took a while. We got 3 minutes to play, plus a couple of minutes of that to add on in stoppage time. One back by Cern. Miro. Denton sends it forward. Touch from Brown. Miro. Brown. Cern. McDonough well placed. And took it down well. And sends it to Campley off on a scurry. Well defended by Denton. But this is playing into Belconnen's hands. It's where they want the ball. Sawkins.
Oh, good touch.
Almost took her in behind, didn't it, the first touch? Good defensive work. King got rid of it. Will be a free kick to Canberra Olympic. They will need to be in hurry-up mode. They will need to get on with it. Their cup dreams are fading away. It's the only trophy they've not won in a while. It's the only trophy they didn't pick up last year. Won the Charity Shield, the league and the grand final. They might be going home empty-handed again. Carey. Miro won it back. Belconnen United, 60 seconds plus stoppage time away from a place in the Federation Cup final.
Just got to get the players forward here, Olympic.
Struggling to get it out of their own half, aren't they? They've never given up on themselves, Belconnen United, in this contest. They believe they scored at a really good time with 6 minutes to go. To give them the opportunity to try and drag themselves back from the precipice, and they did in the final minute. And then an early the goal right before half-time in extra time from Lisa Carey. They might point Canberra Olympic to things not going their own way. That ball bouncing off the post and falling exactly to Carey. I haven't seen or heard anybody mention the offside, Ants, but we'll have a look at it back.
It might not have been either,
yeah.
But I mean, just mean what I saw.
Difficult from where we see from here, isn't it? Denton steps in. Can't force the first pass. We'll need to force the second. Chowdhury to send it down the line.
The Olympic need the players forward now. It's got 2 up top against 4 Belconnen players.
So it's Burridge who played it down the line. My apologies. The orange boots over there on the far side. This is Chowdhury.
Caution to the wind.
Well, they may as well. We're in stoppage time. There's going to be 4 of them. 4 minutes. And we've played 30 seconds of it. Are they going to find a dramatic equaliser to send us to penalties? Or are Belconnen United going to see this one out? In towards Perry. Anywhere will do for Pike here. Ratowski will chase, but get nowhere near it. Carnegie to rush it forward. Helped on by Alves, who's still on there, so I'm not sure who went off earlier. Where'd she sneak on from? And there's a chance for De Campley, who's got in behind. decides to go for goal. Offside against Bobbin. Canberra Olympic, I'm going to have to wait a bit longer to get this forward because Steffi Legends, the final change. Not sure who's coming off.
Kira Bobbin.
Oh, Bobbin just behind the goal.
Yeah.
Pike sees it out. 2 minutes to play. Belconnen United edging closer again. Free kick for a foul on Annika Corrie. Bronte Pike will be in no rush to take this. Maddie Steinecker, who's had a fine match herself.
Instrumental in the second goal, the equaliser too, Maddie Steinecker.
It's a great header from Ratalski offside against De Campley. Perhaps the final throw of the dice for Olympic. Carnegie launches it. Burridge can't get there. Neither can Alves. Here's Pike. Perry back with a challenge. Firm challenge from Ratalski in return. And taking on Jensen. Is that a goal kick? I think it is. So maybe Janet King's got one more chance. Into the final 45 seconds of extra time. King needs to send this as far as she can. They might as well gamble here, Olympic, throw everybody up. Belconnen need to win a header and send it forward. Carnegie launches one. McDonough shoulders it away. Corrie got there before Miro. Denton. Cern. Charged down by Sawkins. He tries to slide De Campley in. King launches it forward again. Final chance for Ella Brown. Jensen, Burridge. Legends get stuck in. Denton fizzes it up the line. Firm from Carey, who might prove to be the match winner. Just can't kill it off at the moment. Steinecker. Corrie just volleys it clear. Ratalski busts a gut to get it in. And we'll send it down the line. Might have been better just booting it down the line and chasing it. Look at the watch from Hyun Woo Jeon. We're into stoppage time at the end of stoppage time. Jensen forward. McDonough's missed it. Toloratais come to get and has got hold of it. Under pressure. There's a yellow card coming out here for young Chowdhury, who slid in to try and rescue the game for her teammates. But Anthony Yagarinitz, it looks like it has gone for Olympic.
Yeah.
They were 2 up, and their cup dreams seem to have dissipated.
And credit must go to Belconnen United, 84th or so minute, you know, didn't stop believing and scored one. And you felt the belief from up here that there was another goal in the match. And from that, it's just been momentum. And Olympic haven't had a bad game by no means, but Belconnen, rightly if it stays like this, deserve to be in the final.
Here goes Carey and Legends, and it's too much. But that might do us. We've played 90 seconds over the stoppage time. Is this a chance for Perry? And loops it straight into the goalkeeper. And Belconnen United are in the Federation Cup final. They do not know how to lose cup ties. It is just not in their DNA. And they've come from behind here to tilt Canberra Olympic out. They were 2-0 down and dead and buried. And with 6 minutes to play, they turned it on its head. And Anthony Yagarinitz, they will play Canberra Croatia in the final.
another Belconnen win and another semi-final win and another Croatia-Belconnen final in a Federation Cup. So congratulations to Belconnen and the team. And you know, Olympics should keep their heads held high, that it wasn't a bad performance and the game plan was good. But when Belconnen asserted their dominance, when they started getting the momentum on top, it was game on for them.
Maddie Whittle scored twice off of rebounds, showing her alertness in the penalty area, and that looked like it might be enough for Canberra Olympic. But a brace of goals from Belconnen in the 84th and 89th swung the game on its head, and when Lisa Carey scored after Annika Corrie hit the post just before half-time in extra time, the turnaround was complete. Thanks, Anthony Yagarinitz, for your help tonight. Thanks, Michael Rubendella, for being here on the camera as well. Thanks to everyone in Brisbane for another epic cup night. Belconnen United will go through and face Canberra, Croatia on Saturday, June the 7th in the cup final. The final score here after extra time at the AIS. Canberra Olympic 2, Belconnen United 3.